Scoot over more. Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexiot's here. It's Thursday Think Tank, and I've got Nako the Nacho with me here this morning. This is Nako, y'all.
What's up?
That is my good friend Gerald Mayhew, stand-up comedian extraordinaire. Have you done a show? You did your show at DuPont on the end of June. I know that. When's your next show, Gerald? You got one coming up?
Mostly open mics where I try new material that hasn't been practiced or like perfected or anything. So
okay,
nothing like worth it.
Well, don't ever sell yourself short like that, Gerald. It's probably very worth it to see you work through your material and try new stuff. Are you going to be at Comedy Bar or where?
Probably at the place on DuPont. That's probably where I'm going to be.
That's one of your favorite places to do your stuff now.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. Yeah, Gerald. This is Gerald. This is the guy I'm always telling y'all to go and see him at the Comedy Bar or wherever he is, whatever comedy show he's on. If you see his name on the marquee with people like, I mean, Scott Thompson, you've been doing shows with Scott Thompson at times. I see that, and different very big names. Gerald Mayhew, Nako the Nacho, here with me today. He's going to help us go over the Summer League roster and talk more about it today, guys. So welcome to Nako the Nacho.
Welcome to Nako the Nacho.
Welcome to Nako. Why did you pick that name, by the way, Joe?
Because it's a funny name, Nako and Nacho.
Nako and Nacho, because it just sounds like kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And I think the funny story is that Gerald and I have known each other for like 10 years almost. And he was in the chat using Nako the Nacho, and I forgot that he was Nako the Nacho. And then I was like talking to him one day. I said, Gerald, you should watch my show, Raptorfreak, in the morning. He's like, I do watch your show. What are you talking about? I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, I'm Nako the Nacho. And I'm like, oh, shit. Gerald has been here. Such good stuff. All right, let's see. Let's check the comments first real quick, Gerald. Trevor J's first in today. Man, listen, I love what Trevor's been doing recently, where he puts in these really great moments of just take time and stock in things right here. He's saying put everything that happened in the past. Put everything that happened in the past. What happened last year with the Toronto Raptors team, let's put it in the past.
Hakuna Matata.
And move forward. I love that you just said that. You know, Maxey posted that with the Lion King still yesterday. Hakuna Matata. Tyrese Maxey. But yeah, we need more of that around our team. That's for sure. Considering more and more of the fallout from Grange's piece this week about how bad it was between the team and things that have been going on. We need a culture fit quick, a culture change quick. Oh my gosh, so bad. So, all right, he's saying put everything that happened in the past. I love that, Trevor. And give your loved ones a call. That's right. Call your mom, call your dad, call your auntie, call your little cousins, call your former dog that your ex took. Yeah, I don't know. Call those people. It may help you. Anyway, and forgive them. Forgive them. All right, forgive them. That's a good part too. And tell them you love them and you miss them, because life is not promised to us tomorrow. Thank you, Trevor J. Trevor, I sent you a follow on your Facebook account there. So thank you for the words of encouragement, general good advice. Go say I love you to people you love before it's too late. Let's just put it that way. All right. Just real quick, I had to limit the amount of wrenches on this channel. We've had weird incidents happening recently, and we've also been wondering about the time of the streams being too long. So I have really downsized how many wrenches. It's not personal against anyone. It's just that I'm going really on the skeleton crew of people that I very much depend on, who come to this channel and help me all the time. So there's only a few wrenches out there at this point. There's only like 4 or 5. So don't feel bad if you do not have your wrench in the chat anymore. It's just that I'm trying something new. It could very well be that I give people wrenches back. We'll have to see how things go. So we're just testing it. You could have gotten a wrench, honestly. I mean, you've got to, you know what, Gerald, you don't need a wrench on here because you've got a wrench just in real life with me, bro. Isn't that cool? Isn't that cool? You can see how we have some cool chemistry on the stage. All right, let's keep going. Cowboy saying, good morning, Lex and Raptors. And well said, Trevor. Yeah, Cowboy. Bam. Yeah. Good job, Trevor. Trevor, man, you've had some good words of wisdom lately every morning. I love it, Trevor. You keep doing what you're doing. Top is here. Top in the house. True words, Trevor J. I'm excited to see Marquise, Grady, Nembhard, and Moses Brown in that order. All right, Top of Top, giving us his Raptors to watch at the Summer League. He's got Marquise Noel, Grady Dick, of course, our two guys we got on draft day. Drafted Grady and signing a two-way with Marquise. RJ Nembhard, formerly of the Cleveland Cavaliers, and Moses Brown, also 4-year pro in the NBA. Gerald, how do you feel about those 4 names that Top has put on there?
Marquise is probably the ones that I'm the most excited for. Just because of that high amount of assists. Of course, I'm excited to see Grady. He was our first overall draft pick. Why wouldn't you be excited to see Grady? Those are the top 2 I'm excited for. It sucks that Koloko has a respiratory illness. You want to see him improve and whatnot.
Yeah.
I like to see him here. But yeah, I'm excited. I think they're up against Chicago tonight.
Tomorrow. First game tomorrow, 6:30 Eastern time. Chicago Bulls. Yeah. I agree. Did you guys see the new Grady Dick interview with Amit Mann that came out last night? Fantastic stuff.
That I haven't seen.
It was good. It's a little short one. He asked some stuff like, which character on Stranger Things are you? And, just different goofy stuff like that. He asked him if he had a unique Canadian moment yet. What's that supposed to mean, Amit Man? A unique Canadian moment. I went out and I got a beaver tail. That's a unique Canadian moment. I went and got poutine. That's a unique Canadian moment. I bought something with a loonie. Oh, there you go. Unique Canadian moments. He said, actually, that the unique Canadian moment that Grady's had so far is getting the Monopoly money. Is that having that really colorful money in his wallet is very fun to him, is what he was saying.
Damn.
Yeah, so pretty interesting stuff. I like the list that Top's got too. And obviously it is very important for us to see Marquise and Grady because they do figure into our season no matter what. They're made men, let's just put it that way. And they will be around the Raptors for the season. So, of course, we want to see what we're getting from them. I really like Nembhard too. Watching his highlights yesterday again, I realized that he's quite an athlete. He's quite an athletic guy for a little guard. And I think him going overseas and coming back is actually good for well-rounding his character and coming back. We see this happen so many times. Guys come in, try and make the league. They're not good enough. They go overseas. They get some experience over there. They have good things happen over there. And then they come back. And then all of a sudden, they're able to be NBA pros again. So that's a great list, Top. I like it. And, of course, Moses Brown, the most hyped. Do you like Moses Brown, Gerald?
I need to watch more of Moses Brown.
Well, let me just go over Moses a little bit. Moses, 7'2". He's been somebody that the Raptors fans have really wanted for a while. In fact, NBA Chev did a celebratory clip on getting Moses finally. The one thing about Moses is he doesn't shoot, y'all. I watched his highlight clip from last year, and every single one of the shots he makes is a dunk. I don't even know if he has a jump shot, y'all. This is the craziest thing. I think this may be the biggest problem with Moses Brown is that he doesn't shoot anywhere outside of 2 feet from the basket. And all of it is dunks. Now, it's impressive. Don't get me wrong. It's amazing. He just kind of grab the ball and guide it over into the basket very easily. And he's amazing at offensive rebound putbacks. But in some ways, his limitation of not having any range as far as his shooting range is very bad. And that probably is the biggest reason why he's where he is in his career so far. In fact, in that whole highlight clip, I watched him yesterday. He had one shot other than a dunk, and it was a little baby hook, and it was like 3 feet away from the basket. So that's the knock on Moses, is that he doesn't have any shot, y'all. If we're going to dunk and go dunk and dunk and dunk and dunk, yeah, he can do that. But also even then, with his slight frame, he can get out muscled and get out positioned in a lot of ways. But all of his highlights were from the NBA and NBA action, and he does clean up the glass really well. One of his best strengths is following people coming in and taking a shot and following them up if they miss and throwing it down afterwards. I saw some really good stuff with Norman Powell when he was on the Clippers with him last year. So, yeah, Moses, it's tough, man. It's tough about him. I know he's a hyped name, and everybody wants to talk about Moses Brown, but, man, he really is a limited player, guys. He's Top's also saying hopefully they all pop out pop, but at least 2 would be nice. I'm not sure why David Johnson is still here.
David Johnson, honestly, is someone who, like, if there's someone on this team that, like, I want to succeed, well, 2 people on this team that I want to succeed, it's Marquise and David Johnson, just because, like, I think you mentioned this yesterday or during the stream. Between Justin, Delano, and David, like, David's the one I expected to stay the least.
Yeah.
I'm hoping for good things. I think Grady's the one who I'm expecting to impress me the most. Maybe Marquise to impress me the most, but David and Marquise are the ones I think I like the most.
Okay. David Johnson's a great player. He's a very smart young man. And, like, honestly, we've invested, 2 years in him now. He played strictly 905 last year. He got 1 game in the NBA his rookie year. So he's technically a 1-year pro, but he isn't really. In some ways, we're just waiting for him to get more consistent. That's his biggest knock. Is there some games that he's off the chain really good and he'll hit buzzer beaters to help the 905 win, but he's not found a consistency in his game as far as stat wise. So that's what he's really got to do in summer league is show a consistency a la like Dalton Jr. If he can be very consistent with his numbers in the games that he plays in the next week or so, that will help him. Obviously, I think he's still going to be on 905 no matter what, because he's a draft pick of ours and he's just part of our franchise because we actually had drafted him. He's our draft rights. So it's nothing wrong with keeping him around and continuing to see, because he's also deceivingly young. Like other than Grady, he's one of the younger guys on this summer league team. So he's still got a lot of learning, and having 2 years experience with the Raptors franchise is really good. I'm rooting for David too, because I really like the young man. And it is crazy that out of those guys, he's the last one standing here between Justin and Delano at this point. Really, really interesting. Nameless is saying, morning, freakazoids. Good morning to you, Nameless. Always happy to see my Italiano lessons teacher. Yeah, do you know any Italian, Gerald?
Buongiorno, ciao. I think grazie is thanks.
Yeah, that is. I think so. I knew that one too. Yeah.
That's all.
That's all you know. That's good, man. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's not bad. He can help you. He's helped me a lot. Trust me. Logical Raptors fanatic in the house. Salute the real ones. Project Truth always. Nako.
Logical.
I don't know, you guys. This is really the best day to give us an impression, because we can do 2 people impressions. If y'all want us to do something really weird on here, this is the best day to do it, because I got my scene partner with me. Somebody I've done silly, stupid shit with for years. So if y'all want to see some sort of weird 2-person impression today, you can get that today real easy. Now, don't make Nako sing. That's the one thing I will say right about. I had the pipes, but this guy, maybe he can lay down some bars, but maybe no from this guy. I mean, you could just for a sec, just let him know. Like, could you do that?
Oh,
see, that's what I'm saying. That's right. Maybe I'm the high, and he's like,
I've been told I'm a good baritone before.
You are actually. Your voice is naturally a baritone, and your delivery in your voice is part of the reason why you're funny on the stage. You're very much like that kind of, like, I don't want to say like Eeyore kind of voice sometimes, it's kind of like, that's why you can do the self-deprecating humor so well, because your voice just lends to the sound of it.
I don't know if any of you know who the Burger King foot lettuce guy is. I've been told I sound like the Burger King foot lettuce guy.
The Burger King foot lettuce guy. That sounds like some sort of horrible medical malady. I have foot lettuce, doctor. I went to the podiatrist and they told me I had foot lettuce. At least you got food for later. Cool Cat's here. Good morning, Raptorfreak crew. Wow, I was able to pop in early this time. My work schedule is crazy these days. Well, I'm glad you're here. I know you were a little late yesterday, but always happy to have Cool Cat in the house. One of the best Raptor freaks. Let's see. Watching Summer League. Weird to see Nick, Rico, and the Sixers. PTSD hotel basketball court in Las Vegas. Howdy, Gerald. Yes.
Hey, Cool Cat. Just a quick thing. My name is with a G, not a J.
That's all right.
Common mistake.
That's
just so you know.
Don't worry about it, Gerald. Come on. It's all right. He's Geraldo the Coolio. His no Fulio is what his other handles in the other pass. Now, I want to talk about something that Cool Cat has brought up here. There's been allusions to Tampa and to the bubble because we have set up temporary courts at the Wynn Resort Casino in a big, huge ballroom. We have two full courts set up in there, and people are having panic attacks because they're very much reminiscent of Tampa and the bubble and situations like that. This is what I'm going to say right now, y'all. Listen, don't be disgraced about Tampa. Tampa is a badge of courage for the Raptors organization. The fact that we went through that whole situation and experience and did what we did is a badge of honor and courage because we kicked ass in that bad situation and we did okay. We weathered it right. So I don't ever think about, I know Tampa was a difficult time, but in a lot of ways, I still think of it as a successful time because there could have been way, way worse things that happened spurned from Tampa that didn't happen. So our franchise did good with damage control on it. Now, I say this. If the franchise is going to spend all this extra money on temporary courts to send down to Tampa and they're just sitting in a warehouse here in Toronto, why the fuck wouldn't we ship them to Las Vegas and get an advantage over the other summer league teams? We have these courts. We already have the practice of setting up temporary courts in hotel ballrooms. So why wouldn't we utilize that experience we already have to an advantage? It seems like the guys are very excited about being in that gym and having that setup like that. I know they're staying in this very same hotel, so it's very convenient for them to just come downstairs and take the court without even having to go outside in that hot, dry Las Vegas heat. So that's my take on this. Stop acting like this is a horrible thing. This is actually an amazingly badass innovation that we found through a very difficult situation. And we have the equipment and the stuff. We already bought it. We might as well take it to Vegas, right? Don't you think so, Gerald? I mean, I don't know. What's your take on it? Do you feel like it's too summer vibes or Tampa? Are you having PTSD?
I'm not having any PTSD to Tampa. The only way I could have PTSD to Tampa is if the Raptors played in whatever arena they were playing in. Amalie Arena. If the Raptors...
Emily. Yeah, that's right. All right. So Isaac Campbell saying, whoa, look at this guy here. Yeah. Fun guy saying, who's this? This is Nako the Nacho, y'all, who's one of y'all. He's here in the studio with me, sitting next to me, just like Tom Duke did a few months ago. We got a guest Raptorfreak with me on the stream today, and this is Nako the Nacho, baby. Yeah, Randolph Phillips is saying, sending blessings to our beloved Raptorfreak's most informative gang, awaiting the final touches to our team. Hope our boys do well in Summer League. Well, I'm going to tell you, Randolph Phillips, blessings to you and the Phillips family as always. And listen, I went and did a little bit of a deep dive of watching highlights on this group that we've got going for Summer League starting tomorrow against Chicago. And I have noticed a pattern. There's very specific types of players on our team this year in Summer League. Very, very specific kind of like roles. I put them in 4 categories. In fact, there's 16 players on the Summer League team, 4 in each category. And I'm going to start with the first category. The first category is heart over height. A bunch of smaller point guards that are all very dog. They're all very, listen, the other thing about these guys is they're all street ballers. You know, when we said we didn't have guys who could fill up the hoop or get to the hoop or make baskets, big time baskets, crazy ass shots, you know, those kind of guys that go in the lane, even though they're really small and they whoop, whoop, and the ball goes in, you know, all that kind of stuff. Dog, heart over height, small guys, Marquise Noel. Obviously, he's the epitome of it. But there's other guys in this team that are just like him. They're like street ballers, crazy, crazy good. And I've got them kind of ranked on a spreadsheet. I say Marquise Noel is number 1 in this category. RJ Nembhard is this type of player. He's a little bit of a fill up the hoop kind of guy. And with his NBA experience on the Cavs 2 years ago and his experience going overseas and doing very well in Lithuania, you know, he may be primed to make a return to the NBA. He has a little bit of a shot to make the Raptors team, but he isn't my pick for who would make it off this summer league. But RJ Nembhard is one of these guys. And then a couple other guys that are on this category are Ahmed Kaver. He's 26 and he's been around a little bit. He went overseas also. and played, and now he's coming back to try and make the NBA. This is a baller. This guy's crazy baller. Like, he gets in the lane, he does all kinds of circus shots. He's really good at making big shots. He's just got that street baller sense. And that's the thing about these dudes I'm talking about right now. We have little street ballers that you're going to see on the court for us, guys that are really can hoop it up, make a lot of quick basket scorers, and they're also little point guards too, which is pretty cool. The last one is Daryl Morsel, who was on the 905 last year as one of our point guards, and he did okay. I'm really happy to see him on the Summer League roster. It's a real long shot that he's going to get anywhere, but maybe this also means that he will be on the 905 once again this year, Daryl Morsel. So what do you think of that category of players, Gerald? Do you like, I know you like Noel already, but I guess you don't really know anything about Caver.
I've seen one game from Caver. I liked what I saw. Yeah, I think it's good to have like explosive guards.
Yeah.
I would have really liked to see the Raptors draft an explosive guard.
Well, we
Grady's
didn't need
Grady's
to.
cool.
We didn't need to. I mean, in some ways, we didn't need to because, I mean, we got Noel on the back end of the draft. Yeah. And, I think you're right, though, what you said earlier, that you're really impressed with his assist numbers. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing that may be different more between Noel and those other guys I named, like Caver, is that he may be more inclined to pass it and set other guys up. And I think he's really going to go heavy on that. But, he's also got to show that he can ball out. So it'll be interesting to see how Marquise Noel balances assists with taking his own shot. And, of course, Raptors Nation is real sensitive to this subject at this point. Little short guys chucking it. So hopefully he doesn't get some, like, Fred vibes and people are, like, turning on him already. Let Marquise Noel try and hoop and make some shots. And let's see if he's got good offensive productions but himself without passing to people. So the second group that I'm talking about today is it's kind of a slasher scorer group, and it's headlined by Ron Harper Jr., who, of course, is somebody we're already invested in, somebody who will be making the team next year. He's a kind of a multi-tool player that can do a lot of different things all together: steals, blocks, rebounds, assists. He can shoot the three. He's got wide shoulders, a big body, and can bang around and kind of like throw his weight around. So this is kind of a mishmash category. These guys are not all the same that I have in this category. The second guy on this list, and this is the one I'm really keeping my eye on, is Kevin Obanor.
I saw him have a great game against Grady.
Grady, yeah. I watched those highlights too, Gerald. It was really cool to see. Now, this is something Grady said in his Ahmet Man interview from last night about him and Noel. Kansas State, that's a rivalry. And they played each other in college. And that is very much like Florida State down south. You have these state rivalries. Kansas versus Kansas State is a big deal. Well, Grady loves the idea of playing against his rival at this level, or playing with his rival at this level instead of against them anymore. So he's really excited because he's very familiar with Noel, and now they're very good friends, which is cool. But Kevin Obanor was actually a rival also against Grady in college on Texas Tech. And one of the best games Grady had as a collegiate player was against Texas Tech. And in fact, it was Grady versus Obanor. And it was very, very back and forth. Now, Obanor's a weird player. He's a forward, but he's very thick and big. He holds a lot of space. He's kind of a bull in a China shop, but he also has a bit of a three-point shot. He's very interesting. He's got a lot of heart to him, but he's a thick guy. He's a big guy with throw a lot of weight. He's kind of a weird wide body. So he'll be interesting to watch. He's got a lot of dog in him also. That's the other thing. He'll hit big shots to win games and do stuff like that. So he's a very interesting player. He's one of my top 5 players to watch in the summer league because I feel like Obanor could make an impression on some people. He is our Exhibit 10, and he is on our team already. So he's going to be on 905 this season, just like Gabe Brown was last year, at least, if not making our team, if he really does shine. So you liked him in those highlights you saw between him and Grady?
Good scoring, yeah.
It's kind of cool to see these two guys. You can scout 2 guys in one clip, and they're on opposite teams. Because I got to be honest, I was watching Grady just as much as Obanor on those clips in that way. So the other 2 guys in this category for me are Desmond Cambridge Jr. and David Johnson. They're more shorter shooting like guards and slashers. We know a lot about David Johnson at this point. Desmond Cambridge Jr. is a shooting guard. He's 6'4". His father played. That's why he's a junior. And the one thing that stands out to me about Cambridge is that he's a very good shot blocking guard. We saw Cason Wallace highlights leading up to the draft where this little guy's getting up there just blocking people left and right. Well, this is the same thing with Desmond Cambridge. He's got really good shot blocking ability for a shooting guard at 6'4". So watch that with Cambridge Jr. at least. But my ranking at that position is Ron Harper Jr., of course. We were invested in him, and Kevin O'Banner. Those guys are the guys to watch for in that category. My next category is the forward three-point shooters. And Grady Dick is at the top of that list. Of course, Grady is our 13th pick. Very invested in him already, signed his rookie contract. And it's going to be fun to see Grady out there. He's excited about competing in a Raptors jersey. Well, Summer League's the first place to do it, Grady. But we have other guys on this roster for the Summer League that are very similar to Grady in some ways. We do know Joe Wieskamp. How do you feel about Joe Wieskamp and his point with the team where he's at right now?
Joe Wieskamp, I kind of look at like same type of player as Grady, though Grady's definitely more exciting. He had my favorite game with Joe is that one game where it seemed like he just couldn't miss. And I forget who we were playing against. I don't feel like I've seen a game like that from him since.
No, you haven't.
Yeah.
So there was like two games that are memorable about Joe. The one that Nako's remembering, and then the one at the end of the season against Milwaukee where he absolutely missed everything. It's like feast or famine with Joe Weezy this past year. Now, I blame Nick for not letting Joe have enough chances and not finding a specialized niche role for him to do what he does best, which is absolutely three-point shooting. There could be a very fun side competition this summer league with our guys having just a little three-point competition. I know they do this kind of stuff, and they probably will. And there could be some very interesting bragging rights between Joe Weezy, Grady Dick, and these other two guys on this list, DJ Hogg and JT Shumante. These guys are all forwards, and they're all like at least 6'6" or higher, and they're all play big down low in some ways. Like Grady does it with slashing and getting up for alley-oops. Joe Weezy, he likes to rebound, and he really does pride himself on playing good defense down low. DJ Hogg, very interesting player. He's somebody who left for a while and went to Australia, played a lot over there, but big, tall guy who shoots a lot of threes, and he's very good dead-eye. And also he can bang a bit around near the basket. That's a very interesting aspect of him. He was successful in the NBL last season, and now he's trying to get back in the NBA. DJ Hogg, somebody to watch out for. And then the last one, JT Shumat from Toledo, is another forward big guy that shoots the three as one of his main weapons. He's also got wide shoulders, and he causes a lot of space, just like Ron Harper does. So that's the next category is three-point shooting forwards. We got little guys with heart, three-point shooters with forwards, and then these guys, slasher scorers, they're kind of big, blocky guys. And the last category is the long-armed monster center forwards. These guys are guys that are just like what we like to build on our team with our franchise of this Vision 6'9". These guys could be the very next crop of them. And the number one guy at the top of this list, the one that I'm really, really super impressed with is Mo Gee. Mo Gee, my God, this guy is very much like Chris Boucher. He has this crazy long wingspan. He looks like Chris, except he's got longer hair. And I saw him blocking three-point shots just like Boucher does. And he has all kinds of crazy hops. He has a very, very crazy wingspan. And I'm excited about him. In fact, he's my pick for my favorite in Summer League this summer. I know the guys that are already on our team are going to do well, like Grady and Marquise. But watch Mo Gee. Mo Gee is coming to do some shit. And I'm telling you, he's got some crazy talent, and he fits our mold. In fact, there's some things he does better than Chris already, which is very interesting to me. Some things like off the dribble. Chris isn't as good off the dribble in certain ways, but Mo Gee has some dribble and moves off the dribble, and he's a very similar type player to Chris in some ways. So he's my number one in that list above Moses Brown. Moses Brown's second on that list. Of course, he's really long-armed, 7'2" center, But as I said, he has no outside shot. His range is all within 2 feet of the basket. And that's no good in today's NBA. You need your centers to be able to shoot threes at this point. And that's why Moses Brown's having a hard time sticking anywhere, y'all. Just so you know, that's just the hard, cold truth. So don't expect Moses Brown to make our team, y'all, because he's really limited because of his shot. And that's it. The other two guys on this list are both centers. We got Moses Wright, who is also a very good long arm guy who's very active. I like the mobility of Moses Wright. I like his instincts, and I like how he attacks the rim. He could be very interesting and fun to watch in this summer league week also. So Moses Wright, don't sleep on him. He could be very interesting, just like Mo Gee. And then the last guy on the center list is David McCormick. He's a center from Kansas who played for Kansas the year before Grady was there, but they are familiar with each other. David McCormick is like a old school throwback. He looks like Wes Unseld to me from like 1978. He's just this wide-shouldered guy who's very gone to the ground. He's not an athletic guy that gets up there, and he uses his bulk and size to make room down near the basket, but he doesn't get up there very high. So he very much is a guy who plays on the floor and is not above the rim, but he has a lot of size, and he really uses it well, and he's just a thick dude. So he's going to be interesting to watch as far as like he's a load and they're going to have a hard time. He'll be very good defensively, and he does get up and down the court pretty good, but he may be a little slow for NBA standards. So there's the 4 categories, and that's kind of my overview myself personally on the Summer League team. Now, Gerald, do you have 5 Summer League players that you think I know you said Grady and Marquise. Is there anybody else that you want to point out as far as like on the list that you're interested in seeing as far as other than the unknown guys we're going to definitely be watching?
RJ coming from Cleveland, and you said overseas, so like, yeah, that's interesting to me. Kevin and RJ, out of like all the more kind of like unknown guys, are the ones I'm the most interested in.
Cool. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I think Kevin O'Bannon is going to be very, very cool. Very, very cool and interesting. All right, let's see what else is going on in y'all's comments. Shane Waters is here. Is this Nako? Yes, Nako the Nacho, y'all. You got to meet Nako the Nacho, my good friend Gerald. Nice to meet you, fellow freak. Bam, from West Coast Raptorfreak. Shane Waters holding it down over there. It's 7 a.m. over in Victoria, British Columbia right now. Marlon Toby's here. Hey, morning. Saw Scotty's Complex Canada interview and Grady's as well as Yahoo Sports. Informative. Yeah, good morning to you, Marlon. Great interviews yesterday. A couple interviews released. The one with Grady at Summer League in Vegas, and then Scotty with an interview with the gentleman from here in Toronto talking about stuff. Did you see either of those? The one with Scotty's interesting. He has some couple of quotes that are very telling. He says,
I think I saw the quotes of him talking like good about Toronto, though.
Yeah, he did say a lot of good things about the fans here in Toronto and being like very happy to be here in Toronto. One of the things he talked about was leadership, though. They asked him straight up, are you ready to be a leader for this team? Do you want to be a leader for this team? And he said, yes, I do see myself as a leader for this team, and I'm ready to take that role. And he had a very interesting statement about how he doesn't feel like leadership needs to be tied to age. Anyway, I'll just I'll pass on that one for right now, considering my stream yesterday. But yeah, those were good interviews and interesting to see Scott. I think Scott fixed his teeth too. If you pay really close attention, he had a dental thing. He fixed his gap in his tooth. And so he has these big shiny chompers in the front of his mouth at this point. It's really weird. Dana's saying, good morning, everyone. And he does mention Twitch, eh? He talks about Twitch family. He says, I really like connecting with the fans through Twitch. He did confirm he will not be doing TikToks with Grady. I told y'all that before. He's like, he's not going to do TikToks with Grady because he doesn't like TikTok. In fact, he said in that interview that he thinks TikTok is for elementary school kids. Oh, that's what he said. Seriously, that's what Scotty said. He thinks it's, you're just going to say that about Grady like that, Scott? That's not very nice. It's just his medium. You like Twitch. He likes TikTok. Come on. Don't be judging. And some people would say Twitch is for little kids. Come on now. But he did talk about his Twitch activity. He said, I haven't been on there for a while. Yeah, October. And he said he does want to do it again still, but I don't believe him. I don't think he'll ever come back to Twitch. I think he just was saying that's the way I like to connect with the fans. And he had some nice things to say about the Twitch family from last year. But he was kind of like, I don't know. I don't think he's coming back. He may have said that. Cool Cat saying, damn, I can't delete my own posts when I make tons of typos. I type fast when I'm at work. Oh, I'm sorry, Cool Cat. Yeah, I'm going to have to figure this out. Like I said, I may be giving wrenches back very soon. We'll see. We're just doing a trial run this time to see, because there was some real confusion and craziness yesterday with wrench things. I know it wasn't on purpose, infamous, but it made me realize maybe I need to dial back still. Stargate's here. Good to see Stargate. It's almost like there are entities out there who are hell-bent on trying to destroy this franchise. Yeah. All these negative narratives being pushed just seem so nefariously deliberate. Yeah, and I'm very much sure it has to do with hockey in Canada. The Leafs are primed. I'm seeing already news that the Leafs are primed to be one of the top teams in the NHL next year. And this can all be very calculated. The consumer dollar for entertainment, sports entertainment, is very limited. You spend your budget on this or this. And in some ways they're in competition. And the Raptors' popularity has hurt the NHL. And they know that. And I'm very, very sure that they are a big part of this, in cahoots with the Canadian media, because they want the Raptors to not be as popular so that the Leafs can take the shine and the NHL can get more of the money. They're priming it so that the Raptors look like a rebuilding team that's not going to win, and the Leafs will be a Stanley Cup contender. So it's very much right there. You can tell, Stargate. You don't have to go too far to figure out then why in some ways. Now, the thing that's pissing me off right now is the Pascal talk. Obviously, it's really heated up. There's a lot of smoke, and I know there's fire, and I hate it. But I hate it so much because they really are trying to eradicate the ability to say Toronto Raptors champion. They really are. And if Siakam leaves, it's going to be very easy to kind of avoid having to say the words Toronto Raptors and champion together in a sentence. And that sucks. That's exactly what it is. They want to erase the memory of what we did in 2019 by picking our team apart and not allowing us to have any remnants of it around on our team. That's really is what's happened at this point with Nick and Fred. And now Pascal will be the last piece if he does get moved in the next month. I think the signs are showing that it is likely to happen, partly from the article that came out yesterday, and also partly because the Raptors just want to have a hard culture reset. And I know a lot of Raptor fans are calling out for Siakam to leave, but I hate this. I hate this so much, especially since he wanted to stay here for his whole career, and I think he could. It's just, man, I think you're right. There's deliberate forces out there trying to destroy our franchise in certain ways, so that people will not follow them or they won't be as popular. That is definitely true. David's here. Good to see David Saborn. I hope you're doing very well, David. I know your news has been tough recently, and we all support you and we love you, brother. Seriously. Noel is like Fred, but he can actually hit a bucket. Excited to see him play. There you go. That's David Saborn. You got a little chuckle out of Nako for that one. I mean, I'm not going to disagree with you because I want to see Noel make every bucket he shoots. That's right. Monique, the super fan. Lawrence is in the house. Let's see what Monique is saying this morning. Always happy to have the greatest super fan, Monique, here. Good morning, everyone. My top 4 guys look at the summer league so far are Grady, Marquise, Ron, and Moses Brown. Yeah, that's a good list. I mean, those 3 of those guys will be on the team for sure. And we got to see where Ron has progressed to. What do you feel about Ron Harper's time with the Raptors so far, Gerald?
I kind of similar to David Johnson. There is like potential that I do like. The most exciting thing about Ron Harper was the Jalen Suggs shot. That's what I'm going to call it. He takes a shot in a college game, like from half court. Yeah. He like wins like.
So you're talking about the Rutgers shot?
Yeah.
That was an amazing shot for sure.
I need to watch more 905 to know what kind of impact he had on that team. There's a lot of cool potential things about him that I like. And yeah, you do kind of hope it all comes together and whatnot.
Yeah, he's getting developed, and it's slowly but surely. But this is the thing: he knows how to do it right because of his father and his mother. And, he knows what he's doing, and we're just got to give him a little bit of time, and maybe he'll have a breakthrough. We'll have to see. I'm patient with Ron because I know we don't desperately need him. And in some ways, he's a very good project for us to have. So he's a good character guy. He's a good teammate. He does a lot of different good things on the court. So what's not to like? We just got to see him be more consistent and get out there and get more chances. In some ways, Ron Harper Jr. has been stymied by the not many chances. And more chances, hopefully we'll see more results. We'll have to see. Kareem Thomas is here. Good to see Kareem Thomas, the dunk leader. I believe he's the dunk leader. Yeah, you're the dunk, or no, Seymour is one of you guys. Marquise is going to run laps around everyone in the gym. I hope Grady is ready to catch and shoot. Yeah, I think he is. I think he really is. It's interesting. He's talking to Ahmed Man. The thing that Darko wanted to talk to Grady about first, when he's saying that he taught him something right away, apparently was about pace. Is about Grady picking up the pace of how he moves on the court and trying things faster. And that was the thing that illuminated to Grady that he was like, wow, this coach is really good. He's got me doing something I've never done before. It was a drill to increase his pace as a player and his movement. So that's a good sign right there. So hopefully he has the right pace to connect with Noel the way Noel might be hitting him. Yeah, good morning to you, Kareem. Always good to see you. Top saying last year in Summer League, Harper Jr. looked a bit out of shape. I might agree with that. And slow, but he had a lot of skill. He was doing well in the G League. Hopefully he can make it to the end of the bench for the big club. Yeah, to me, in some ways, he reminds me of Scotty a lot. They have a similar kind of frame, except he's shorter than Scotty. He has that same kind of like broad shoulders and heft to him that he can really kind of throw weight around. And he did. You know, in the G League, he was throwing his weight around against other teams a lot and making his own shot with his own body. And that's an interesting skill for him. His only knock is his height. Only being like 6'5", 6'6", it's easier to do that if you're more Scott's height on the bigger level. So that's part of the problem with Ron right there. But you're right. He has tons of skill set. He blocks shots. Like he'll block a shot. He can do a little bit of everything. He's a mishmash of everything. In some ways, he's like a mini Vision 6'9". Let's just put it that way. Infamous is saying, salute the freaks. I checked out the Scotty interview. He spoke very highly of Nurse and the freedom he allowed the team on offense. Well, that's what they all loved about Nurse and his scheme as far as he didn't tell them what to do on offense. And that's what I hated about Nurse and what he did with the offense. So there's a dichotomy to it. Sure, the players love being able to have free reign and do whatever the fuck they want until there's accountability and somebody's yelling at them in the back in the locker room. And then they're kind of like, there's accountability for this. We can't just do what Nick wants us to do and everything's all right. No, because it's not leading to winning. So maybe he should tell y'all what to do. Is what I'm saying.
I think Fred also didn't like the Nurse doing what you want to do, because Fred also mentioned that the team doesn't really have an identity.
Yeah. They had no structure. They didn't have roles. And then you add into it, there's a lot of trade talk swirling. So certain guys are kind of like insecure because there's a lot of trade talk going on. That Grange article really goes into detail about when things kind of started to go bad. Orlando, when we were down there and we lost those 2 games in a row to Orlando, Fred reamed everybody out. And that was when everything kind of got shitty, because they did not react well to Fred giving them the riot act in the locker room. That's been pinpointed to the time when Fred kind of lost people, was that Orlando trip where they went down there and dropped 2 in a row in a humiliating way to the Orlando Magic. And Fred let them know that this isn't Raptors culture. This isn't what we do here. We're trying to win. And they didn't like it. They rubbed them the wrong way. And that's where things started to go divided, was around Orlando 2-game series where we lost both of them. So I hate that. I hate that so much. Logical saying, I'm interested to see how they play, whether the style will be used to play in Summer League. I need to start seeing what plays are run and etc. Ooh, I love this. Mike is already licking his lips to try and see Summer League footage, because it will be a tell to what Darko Rajakovic's schemes are going to be for the Raptors overall. This is actually really astute and true. If we want to see a preview, a highlight of what's to come with Darko's systems, the Summer League is the best place to get the hot early preview. So what do you think he's going to run, Gerald?
I think you want to see a lot of ball movement. And yes. I think more from a development point of view, you definitely want to see Grady get faster, especially with what you said about Grady saying with his interview. Because that is probably the weakest part of Grady's game, is that he isn't very fast.
He's deceivingly fast, though. You don't have to be fast in the NBA. You just got to know when to go. That's why Bird was so good. It's not that he was very fast. It's just that he was really smart about knowing when to go.
I think that he's a little deceivingly athletic.
He's very deceivingly athletic.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I've seen this guy do like a gymnast move, like carry shrug or something. Flip, flip. Like he'll do like he could be in a ninja movie and he could be the ninja doing like all the flips across the floor to fight somebody. Because he does have that athletic ability. And then also, Grady's a natural athlete. Every single sport that he played as a kid, he excelled at. He was extremely good at baseball and football and not just basketball. So it's like he's a natural athlete. It's just that in some ways his athletic ceiling is a certain place. But in a lot of ways, he's deceivingly athletic also. CJ Miles said that in his assessment of Grady Dick, that he's a lot more athletic than people give him credit. And you can see it when he goes in the lane and he kind of gets in traffic. He takes some physicality and he's still able to be acrobatic in the air and finish. So that's a pretty cool thing about him for sure. But yeah, Mike's exactly right. There's going to be a nod to what Darko is going to do with our team from how Pat Delaney runs the summer league team tomorrow, starting tomorrow.
And I think you also want to see like really smart plays from everyone as well.
Oh yeah, of course. Well, that is going to be like, well, these guys are on audition. They have to play as well as they can because they're getting, this is a big time scout kind of event. And for guys that went overseas and they're trying to come back, it's really important for guys like Caver and Hogg. For sure. All right, let's see. Tristan saying Moses Brown, also saw him during Rico runs last season. Yeah, he was at the Rico runs last season. Like I said, he's really good and mobile. He gets up and down the court, but the man has no jump shot. And what do you do in the NBA with no jump shot these days when everybody out of all 5 positions has to be able to shoot the 3? We know that's Achilles heel for us. We're going to have guys like Pascal and Scotty out there that aren't the best 3-point shooters. You can't have Moses Brown out there with them too, because it's way too much non-3-point shooters on the court. And that is a big problem with Moses Brown, y'all. I'm trying to talk y'all down right away. All right, about Moses Brown, because I know it's not going to work out with him. And y'all are so crazy high on him. You're going to be talking, well, we should have kept Moses Brown. Well, I'm going to tell you why we probably won't. Darko's here, guys. We've got our coach with us today, the new Raptors head coach, Darko Rajakovic. Thank you, Darko, for releasing your coach's staff this week. Very excited to see your new team of coaches in action and how you're going to run this team. Darko's saying, good morning, Raptors maniacs. I've been busy completing our coaching staff. I hope y'all are excited as I am to start the summer league. See you there. Man, I wish I was going to Vegas right now. Holy cow, Darko, just enjoy yourself. You're there in the country of the sphere.
Keep up the good work.
Yeah, keep up the good work. Keep doing what you're doing. We're excited to see how you're going to run this team and your style of what you want to do and how the Raptors will improve from your changes. I'm so excited about it. Yeah, Vegas would be a great place to be right now, although it's hot. That sphere is crazy, Gerald. Have you seen the light shows that MGM Sphere has been putting off?
I have not seen the light shows.
That thing is amazing. They all right, it's huge, and it's next to a highway, and they made it look like a giant eyeball the other day, and it's like scary in a way because it looks so gross. It's so realistic and so big. It's really like future shit. Like it's really weird, and I'm worried that people are going to wreck on the highway that drives by that sphere because it's always changing. Like they made it into a big, huge basketball for Summer League. They put it on and it says Summer League and it's a basketball and it's rotating. And it's cool, like how they can change it and make it look all kinds of different things. So yeah, be careful of the sphere, Darko. If you're driving, don't pay attention to the sphere. Just keep watching the road. Maybe hopefully you have other people driving for you while you're in Vegas. But yeah, don't drive and watch the sphere. You could wreck. I don't want anything like that happening to anybody with the Raptors at Summer League. No. We're excited. We can't wait to see y'all play the Bulls. Yes, let's beat the Bulls, baby. Yeah. Iceman like Gervin's in the house. Minutes police. Whoop, 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 whoop. When it comes to media, in the words of Public Enemy, don't believe the hype. Yes. Don't believe the hype. I love that song. Oh my gosh. Flavor Flav, Chuck D, Terminator X. Yes, let's go. Noel is going to be one of the most exciting players to watch in Vegas. Wieskamp will be motivated as well. Yeah, I love this take by Iceman, and I agree. You know what? There is a lot of hype. There is a lot of bullshit. Don't trust it. Don't trust it. Just like they say, same thing. Public Enemy song. Don't trust it. It's just what it is. It's part of this time of year. And the Siakam stuff I'm used to. It's almost like when they talk about Siakam, I've got kind of a callus on it. And like same with OG. I really don't get upset about it because it's just been so consistently happening for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And it's almost like, all right, I'll believe it when I see it. It's kind of where we're at, right, Iceman? It's kind of like, yeah, you fuckers have been talking about Pascal for 3 years or something like that now. Yeah, whatever. We'll believe it when we see it. Oh, I don't care if Atlanta has the craziest lust for Pascal Siakam right now. I'll still believe it when I see it. Y'all don't have anything we want. That's why I'm like, it won't be a one-team deal with Atlanta because they don't have anything we want. It's going to have to be a 3-person deal, and we're going to have to be getting something really good from the third team because Atlanta, you have nothing we want. Seriously, there's nothing on your team that we want for Siakam. So it's like, just stop, please. I think you're right also about Marquise Noel. I think that there's an underlying hype with people that are in the know about him and his performance from the tournament, but there's also a lot of people that are sleeping on him, as would be happening with the 5'8" guy. What do you
I forget his name, but on Memphis's summer league team, there's also another 5'8" guy. I forget his name, but he's like really cool to play or to watch.
Yeah.
He got a real good steal on Chet Holmgren.
That's awesome.
But I forget his name.
Okay. Memphis has a lot of good summer league players. I mean, between Kenny Lofton Jr. and what he did last year.
Kenny is probably my favorite player to watch this summer league. Not that I've been like keeping like the best eye with summer league, just because there's a lot of basketball with summer league,
and there's so many players involved,
and it overlaps. And there's a lot of players.
David Roddy's another great young player that they use on their summer league. Yeah, Grizzlies have got some good talent on there. And then the last part, he's saying Joe Easy will be motivated as well. I think this has to be for Joe.
Open.
I mean, he didn't look good at the end of the season, so he's got to like wipe the memory of that Milwaukee game. And he's got to really show the real Joe Easy and what he's capable of as far as like making consistent 3-point shots. And I have faith in him. I really do. I mean, if he doesn't do it now, he may be in trouble with his NBA career. That's very true. In some ways, he could be real easy to cut by this time, between this time and the training camp or the beginning of the season, to free up a move like, think like what we did last year. We're getting Wancho all of a sudden out of the blue. We cut somebody else on our team real quick to allow for that. So I could see that kind of move happening for Joe if he doesn't do well in summer league. It's really, really important. Name is saying, let's fucking go, Nacho. That's right. Nacho Libre, Nako the Nacho. That's right. Yeah. Cowboys saying, I'm glad Superfan Mo got a wrench. What's up, Nako? Let's go, Darko. And Raptors can't wait for tomorrow. Let's go. We win by 20. The threes are going to be raining down. Yes, Cowboy. Yes. Unfortunately, I had to take a wrench from a couple of y'all. Nameless, Fiercey, Cowboy. A lot of people lost a wrench yesterday, but it's not really a loss. It's just we're trying something new. And if I am going to add more wrenches back, you guys are top of the list. Y'all know that for sure. I just want to go bare minimum. Like I said, there's only 5 wrenches right now at this point. So Fiercey saying, good morning, fam, and salute to Nako the Nacho. Summer League roster is very impressive. Exciting times. Any news on Jamal Magloire's role in the organization? Scotty's interview was nice. Yes, I do have news on Jamal Magloire. It is official. He is only a community ambassador. He will not be joining Darko's team on the bench. So there will not be any work. There will be no Jamal Magloire antagonizing the other team. None of this kind of stuff happening. He is still with the Raptors as community ambassador, but he is not a part of the coaching staff and will not be traveling with the team in that kind of way. So there's your answer with that one. I got that confirmed for sure. Scotty's interview was nice. And I like this. In some ways, I like what he's doing because he's trying to lay the groundwork for him to take over as our captain because he wants people to see him more in the eyes of as a leader. And I really took that as being part of why he released that thing yesterday, is he wants to talk about how he wants to be a leader and get it more in Raptors fans' minds. That he wants to and he's ready and he wants to try this season. So that's really, really interesting aspect of Scotty's interview for sure. Yeah, I'm really excited with the Summer League roster. Once again, they accumulated a bunch of very interesting talent. In fact, I'm like so impressed with some of these guys. It's like we just don't have enough room for all of them. I wish we could keep like a bunch of them because there are very impressive people on our Summer League roster. And we're going to see right away, we're going to be like, holy shit, this team is really fun to watch because of that mix of those kind of players, the small guys that are real ballers, the long guys that are really good long arms and like all kinds of stuff. And then the 3-point shooting's going to be insane too.
I think DJ Stewart, that's his last name, right? He did a few Exhibit 10s with us. I don't think he's in the NBA still, and I think he should be in the NBA.
You know, DJ Wilson.
Wilson.
DJ Wilson. Well, we kind of burned the bridge with DJ Wilson when we cut him because we made a choice, a very tough choice at the beginning of the season last year, and he was on the outs. And you know, to add insult to it, he got his bags lost by Air Canada when he was leaving Canada. And he went on like a tirade on Twitter about how, like, man, this country, fuck Air Canada. I'll never fly with them again. So in some ways, I think he's like turned off from the whole country of Canada by his experience with us last year. So we've went to the DJ Wilson thing twice in 2 different times. Yeah. And it really wasn't. I mean, in some ways, I think he would have worked in some ways, but in some ways, he didn't really latch.
Probably wouldn't work with us, but he does deserve to be in the NBA.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably on somebody's Summer League roster. I just don't. I'm not going and looking at everybody's roster. Yeah. But he's still in that range of age that he's probably on a Summer League roster somewhere. If not, he's doing foreign overseas play now at this point. So. All right, let's keep going with the comments. Smooth Brown Man saying David Johnson. Wow, I forgot about him. Yeah, you know, David is a really good 3-point shooter. Once again, I could have put him in the 3-point shooting category because he very much fits in it too. He's a sharp, dead-eye 3-point shooter also. But he does have an underrated ups too. Like we saw a couple of plays in 905 this year where he attacked the rim and got above it and threw it down real nasty. Real nasty. So he's a more complete player in some ways than just a 3-point shooter like Joe Easy in some ways. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting. He has a long shot. But if anything, I think he has a spot in 905 no matter what. And it's good for continuity to have him on that level with those guys. I just think so. Kareem saying David Johnson sucks. He will retire and have the record of most games played in the G League. Moses Brown gives Toronto another tool in their tool belt. Rim runs, rim protector, and rebounder. You know, there's one thing about him is he's a big target near the basket. And if he catches it and he gets it clean without people hitting him or something like that, he can make a dunk real quick. So he is a weapon. In some ways, he is very much a role player weapon, but he has such stark weaknesses that it makes it really, really tough to justify him getting a good amount of time. You know, in some ways, he has his weaknesses actually exclude him from being able to be in the league, is what I can tell. And this is part of the reason. Why wouldn't you want a 7'2" guy that could do all that kind of stuff that he could do against the rim? Why are people giving up on him and moving him so quickly? Because he can't shoot. He says he can't shoot. It's just pure and simple. He doesn't even have a mid-range, y'all. He doesn't even have a mid-range, let alone a 3-point shot. So that really hinders him. It really, really hinders him in some ways. I mean, if they spend the roster spot on him, I'm going to question that, honestly, because in some ways we have Koloko, who can offer a lot of what he offers and way better with other skills also.
Great passer for his size.
And Koloko's developing that 3-point shot. So if you got to make me choose, I'm obviously going to stay with our guy from Cameroon. So, man, yeah, you think that he's going to get the record for most G League games played?
It's some guy with the South Bay Lakers. I forget his name. I think he's close to 40, but it's some guy on the South Bay Lakers.
Okay. I don't know. There's a lot of weird guys who are coming into the league right now. Like there's this weird European guy that looks kind of like Birdman, and everybody's like, who the fuck is this guy? He's on Orlando or something. Birdman, the player who played the NBA. Oh, not the rapper or
I was thinking
Charlie
of Michael Parker. Keaton from
no, not that really weird superhero movie. No, there was a player in Birdman who played for the Nuggets who had a lot of tattoos and sleeves, and he had a mohawk, and he got in trouble for marijuana. a bunch of times, and before marijuana got legalized with the teams and stuff. So, but yeah, no. Anyway, keeping on going here. Let's see. David saying, yeah, it's pretty hopeless. DJ is by far the worst of the three. Really annoying. Not to mention, we still have that Harper Jr. kid, which I never understood. All right, David, come on. I know sometimes you can be cynical and a little negative. This is unfair. I think that DJ is, underrated. You guys aren't giving him enough chance. Let him do what he's going to do. And it's not like he's hurting anything. He's a good dude. He's a nice guy. He's a smart dude. And I'm glad that he's still around. He's still getting a chance. It's not like he's hurting us. Now, as far as Ron Harper Jr., he has promise. It's a little bit different with him over David Johnson. Ron could actually become a rotational player for the Raptors down the road. So I'm really happy that we're developing him. You've got to remember, David, who his father is. His father is Ron Harper Sr., who has 5 championship rings with the Bulls and the Lakers, and is a very celebrated vet. Now, Ron Harper Jr. is a Nepo baby, and some people say, well, maybe he would only be in the league just because of who his dad is. I'm not going to totally argue against that, but also the fact that he's stuck around and the Raptors see value in him, that's not because of who his dad is.
I know these guys aren't on our team anymore, but between Ron, Champagny, and Delano, I think I like Ron's intangibles the most.
Yeah. Well, he's the most complete player between the 3 of those guys. Champagny has got some really good, strong attributes.
He looks so weird now that he has his haircut.
Yeah, I haven't seen him. And then Delano, there's different issues with Delano. But the thing with Ron is he does everything really well, but not to a really high level. He's kind of like middle good at everything as far as rebounding, everything. There's no real weaknesses in his game. It's just that he's not super, super good at anything. He's just kind of average at a lot of things, all things, which is pretty good. Top saying, I saw reports about acquiring Io DeSumo. Any thoughts?
I would love Io on our team. You're probably going to say something absolutely
No. I wanted to read the rest of the comments.
Okay,
I'm sorry. Do you think that would signify the end of any trades for this summer? I don't want a Fred situation happening with Pascal and OG next summer. Well, Pascal's already saying we take him at his word that he will just stay with us. Even if we trade him to somewhere, he doesn't want to extend with them. So that's a good sign with him. I know I'm more worried about OG with this situation than Pascal. So in this kind of way, I know nobody wants this thing that happened with Fred to happen ever again. But once again, I said this is a unique timing situation with the new CBA rules and Houston's salary cap underspending for years that allowed for this. And, they very much expected Houston to throw a huge bag at James Harden and take that. He was going to take this money instead of Fred. And it didn't happen that way. James decided he did not want to go to Houston for some reason. Maybe it's because of Doka. I don't know. Now they had somebody they had to throw the bag at. Well, Fred was one of the targets, and he was the one who took it. So it's really like a unique situation. I don't expect this kind of thing to happen next year. Are there going to be teams that can rival us with salary cap opening up next summer to steal and outbid us next year? I cannot say for sure. But I know that Bobby and Masai, if they're keeping on top of things, they're going to really make sure that they probably do have the most money to keep any restricted free agents that we have next summer. So we'll have to see. I like Io. I would get Io if we could get him. It's not that the thing is with him, he's young and he hasn't been in the league for very long. So in some ways, we need veteran experience at point guard, which Schroeder has, and that's more important. That people have been talking about debating Gabe Vincent versus Dennis Schroeder in the last week or so, and I really think that they're apples to oranges. In some ways, Gabe Vincent, his price and the way he's looked at right now is inflated because of the run to the finals and how he did in the playoffs. Now, he may have been on a hot streak in the middle of the playoffs and looked really good, but that's not really indicative of who he is as a player. And that's why I caution people from judging Gabe Vincent just from the playoffs. And that's why I really like the Schroeder pick over Gabe Vincent, because he's much more consistent. And in some ways, he does things that I value more than Gabe Vincent does, as far as the defensive stuff and just having that mentality of being really annoying. I love that so much about Schroeder. I really do. Do you like Schroeder?
I need to see more from Schroeder, because my knowledge of Schroeder is that it worked really well with the Lakers and it didn't work that well with the Celtics. That's my knowledge of him.
Okay.
I'm hopefully optimistic because he's been with the Lakers longer than he has with the Celtics, and he has been with the Lakers more recently than opposed to the Celtics.
The team he was on the longest with was Atlanta, and that was way back, and he was very consistent then. The thing about Schroeder is he's been like a double-digit scorer on the down low. He's very underrated. He doesn't get a lot of shine. We also have to remember he's an international player. So in some ways, the U.S. NBA media doesn't push him or give him any shine, even though he's a very, very valued vet for many teams around the league. He is somewhat like Patrick Beverley, but to me, he has more skills than Patrick Beverley. Let's just say he's got kind of like the mentality in some ways like Pat Bev. He's maybe not as vocal as him, but he's definitely got that same kind of competitor drive, kind of like never give up thing. And I'm telling you, he's a really good athlete. Like an insanely good athlete. So I'm excited about him.
I do like the idea of a Patrick Beverley like guard because I think Patrick does. If there's one thing about him, he plays with a lot of like that dog.
He's on the Sixers, just so you know.
No,
Stargate is saying, but Lex, in reference to Moses, look at players like Jakob and Jared Allen. Both players have similar limitations when it comes to shooting, but they have roles. Okay. All right. I mean, I get what you're saying. Jakob has a bit more range than him, though, in some ways. Like, I seriously did not see Moses Brown take anything other than dunks. Every single thing he pretty much put in, other than maybe one or two shots, was a dunk. And in some ways, that's a big red flag to me, in some ways. You know, Jakob can do little hand shots. He can do a little bit of a jumper from 10 feet out. And that there is a difference in that. And the same for Jared Allen. I don't see Moses Brown taking any shots, like not even from 5 feet out. So there's still like a range that he's missing that those guys actually have that is essential for him to play in the league. So it's not exactly the same. I know it seems like the same with Jakob and Jared Allen, but they have a little bit more range than Moses Brown. It's crazy. Monique saying practice looked great yesterday. Great interview by Grady with Ahmed. I love seeing the Jeff Doughton Jr. hitting 18 shots in a row clip. They said that basically he was shooting, he missed one, and Jim Sand said, all right, no more misses. And then Jeff drained 18 shots in a row, 3-point shooting. Now, that's the cool thing is apparently him and Koloko were out on the court practicing, even though they're not playing in Summer League. They're there putting in work and running with the guys, even though they're not technically playing the Summer League. I like to hear that Koloko's at least working out, even though he has that respiratory problem and he's not going to play. But really cool, too, to hear that Jeff's recovering from his ankle surgery on time. And like if he's out there shooting and making 18 shots in a row, well, his ankle must be healing all right.
If there is one player who I'm disappointed in that isn't playing Summer League, or at least to my knowledge, they're not playing Summer League, it's Victor Wembanyama.
Oh, he is playing.
Yeah.
He's playing tomorrow night. It's sold out. 19,000 tickets sold out for Summer League to see Victor make his debut tomorrow night. Yeah, he's playing. He's going to play 2 games. He didn't play in Sacramento part, but he's playing in the Vegas part. And yeah, it's a big deal. They sold out really, really quick. And that's just the hype around him right now at this point. It's crazy. All right, y'all are retracting your messages. All right, let's see. Smooth Brown Man saying at top of top, if Chicago were willing to do a sign and trade IO for Chris Boucher, yep, Chris would say no, though. I mean, Chicago would say no, though. I don't know if they would say no to that. No, that's another thing. People are talking about getting rid of Chris Boucher right now. That's a telltale sign to me. It's like, okay, you don't want us to have any Canadians. You don't want us to have any champions. I'm sick of this. I'm so sick of this. I don't want to trade Chris Boucher, especially if we're trading Pascal anytime soon. You know, I'm kind of putting 2 and 2 together with Brian Windhurst here, that Boucher is part of the people that kind of valued Fred as a leader and didn't agree with the youngsters going against him. If you think about what Boucher said in the Hustle Play podcast, he said, the only person on this team I listen to for leadership is Fred. And in some ways, he's really reacted very well to Nick Nurse being stern with him and being tough with him, and he's made him a better player. So Chris understands how that kind of conflict and constructive criticism could be very helpful to a player to get better and develop to another level. And I'll bet you Chris, in some ways, wasn't too thrilled with the youngsters not listening to Fred. Not that I'm trying to make things worse. I'm just trying to point out something that I can kind of see just from what people have said about things and where Chris was kind of at in the season, and even some of the things he said after Hustle on the Hustle Play after the season. That, in some ways he very much respected the hierarchy of leadership on our team with Fred VanVleet as a captain, and he did not like the way things went this season with people not following his leadership. I'll bet you very much that he didn't like that, and that's why he's saying it's weird and all this kind of stuff. But hopefully everybody can coexist. And there's better leadership this year that is conducive to the youngsters that didn't like leadership last year and people like Chris Boucher who want a strict leadership that is kind of structured and has roles. That is the biggest fallacy that Nick Nurse did last year is he had no roles. He had no structure. And with the ambiguousness of things, these guys were confused and just kind of having a hard time. So Darko, give these guys good, strong roles and give them ideas about what they're going to be doing, and they will thrive. They will thrive way better than he did in the ambiguous bullshit that Nick Nurse was making them do last year. Cowboys saying, give Darko a wrench. If that is we wish you the best, and we will stand by you in your ups and downs. Let's go, Darko. You're the man. This is off topic. I'm sorry, but Raptorfreak family, check out Bricks after, please. All right. Bradley wants me to plug something called Bricks, y'all. So go check out Bricks. Hopefully they're off the court and not on the court in any kind of way. We had enough Bricks last year, and this year we want Bricks as in the company that Bradley's trying to promote here. So check out Bricks. I don't even know what it is. Maybe it's marijuana bricks. Gerald, do you think it's marijuana bricks?
Marijuana bricks that'd be cool. I don't think it's marijuana bricks from what I know.
Maybe it is. I'd love it to be bricks. Is that, Gerald and I are both big cannabis connoisseurs. Did you bring something good?
I only brought what's in my grinder, and I have like a bowl in my grinder.
That's fine. I don't need any. I'm interested to know what you're smoking. That's all, bud.
I think it's like pink cookies.
Pink cookies? He's got pink cookies. All right. That's cool. I like that. Yeah, we'll give Darko a wrench. Maybe. I don't know. I would give Darko a wrench for sure. So, yeah, and that's also something I want to get behind also, Bradley's saying. Whatever your ups and downs are this year, real ones like the Raptor Freaks, Darko, will support you through the ups and downs of starting out as the new head coach of the Raptors. We know that things may not go totally smooth in certain ways. Hopefully they go as smooth as possible. But we have a willingness to be ready to temper our expectations and go with the ups and downs of the season as they go in a healthy, productive way as fans, unlike a lot of our fan nation probably will act like. We will definitely be the people that are saying good things and trying to get things going in the right direction instead of just being jerks. So we'll see how things go this season. Hopefully just unbridled success, complete success, all kinds of ways. Mike is saying we're full on prospects. We need to assess what we have before acquiring more prospects. We need to assess Flynn, Precious, Coloco, Doughton, Ron Harper, Grady, etc. We need roles and decisions on plays. I love what Mike's saying here. He's exactly right. Mm-hmm. We need roles. And I agree. I think we've got a full load of guys that we're still kind of assessing. And if anything, there's maybe part of the failure also is that Nick Nurse didn't allow us to he took up our time. And we didn't assess guys. Maybe we would have assessed already if we hadn't been going through such a maniacal play the starters too much kind of thing with him. So, yeah, I agree with Mike. And in some ways, I don't want more prospects or weird people coming in than the ones we've already kind of designated. Although somebody really shines, like Jeffrey Doughton Jr. did last year in Summer League, they may be getting a two-way contract out of the blue. I'll bet you that's true. I'll bet you one of these guys on this Summer League roster, if they do really, really well, and play very, very consistent, they may get an offer just like Jeff did last summer. So there may be at least one new prospect or new name in the mix for the Raptors in training camp. Fiercely saying, just want to make sure I don't miss the game tomorrow on NBA TV. Okay, it jumped a sec. Let me get back. Will it be at 3:30 or 6:30? It's 3:30 their time in Vegas. It's 6:30 our time here in the Eastern time zone. Fiercely. So it's 6:30 if you're Eastern time. So 6:30 in the evening is when the game will be. 3:30 in Vegas local time. So, all right. Seymour saying, thanks, Fiercely. Who's the guest? What up, Nako? Is Nako the Nacho?
Hey, Seymour.
Yeah. It's Nako the Nacho. G saying, Grady's interview showed Doughton in the background working hard as usual. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I know Jeff's working. I mean, the dude could be laid out and say, I'm still recovering from my ankle. No, he's anxious to get out there and keep his shot hot. Yep. I love that. G, by the way, I took your wrench away because you had 2 accounts that had a wrench, and I kind of want to keep you on wrench. So I'm gonna, guys, no offense to anybody, but I want G to have a wrench just because he was one of the 5 that I wanted to have, and he was kind of he had 2 accounts, so I got rid of both of them. So I'm just gonna give G his wrench back because he is somebody who's you guys are all consistently here. It's just that G's somebody that it's partly because he's the trivia champion too. But all right, Fiercely saying culture reset to cater to the haters is crazy in my opinion. The media should not manipulate who and what people support. Also, the way certain reporters write their stories clearly biased. Yes, and yes, and yes. Less of the manipulation from the fan base and the media with what the team is doing with front office moves, please. I don't want to run any more people out of town because of toxic Raptors nation. I don't want any more hit pieces from people like Michael Grange. This bullshit has got to stop, but it won't. We just got to get used to it and be able to maneuver in within it. In some ways, Raptors culture is getting more and more like New York Knicks, Philadelphia Sixers kind of culture, which is super toxic, very, very judgmental, and very much on top of the team in such a microscope that, in not in a positive way, that it's harmful to the team. That the Knicks nation has hurt the Knicks for a long, long time, and that's part of the reverberation effect. We don't want to do that here in Toronto. Now, what happens is if we're really bad this year and nobody wants to watch us, maybe a lot of the casuals and the really bad people will go away, lose interest, and we can start to rebuild the feel around our foundation with the real ones who are still watching, considering things. So hopefully that may be part of what happens. But I'm worried because we could be like the other Atlantic Division teams and have a super, super toxic fan base like the Knicks do. And that really hurts your ability to get better and better. You can ask the New York Knicks franchise. So Raptors Nation, stop being toxic and fuck you, you fucking journalists that are writing bullshit pieces like Michael Grange. Like, this doesn't help things. What you put out this week, it illuminates some of the problems, but it really doesn't help things in a lot of ways also. So, yeah, Fiercely, I'm with you. Raps Love's here. Good to see Raps Love. The team was losing, and when teams lose, they fight. Well, Fred had to do that. If they got mad at they are crybabies. I know. In some ways, I totally agree with you. Fred had the right to ream people out and yell at them and tell people they need to try harder. And I hate that they're not tough enough to listen to him and take it like a man. In some ways, that pisses me off in some ways because it makes me worried about who we are putting our eggs in the basket. That this guy may not have the character or the toughness to take us to the promised land like somebody like Fred and Pascal already did, if they're kind of like that. Seriously, I don't like that characteristic in a player. I want tough, mentally tough guys that can take it, because you won't be able to take the highest levels of pressure if you're having problems with just Fred telling you how to play better. Seriously, that is a big problem and a red flag to me. And I don't care how talented a player is. That's not a player I want on my team. In fact, when I get that kind of indication that a player is soft like that, I don't want him on our team anymore. I'm not saying anybody in particular right now, but I'm just saying that we don't want no crybabies. We don't want any soft-ass players on our team. Seriously, don't be soft on our team. You wear a Raptors jersey, you're not a soft motherfucker. Please. Seymour saying 53 million 4-year sign and trade. Boston get Grant Williams going to Dallas on the sign and trade. I'm happy about this. This is officially signaling that the Celtics are going to slide this year. It was already on its way with Marcus Smart going to Memphis, but now that Grant Williams is gone, a lot of people are recognizing the defense in Boston land will be very bad next year. The 2 of their best defenders are gone now, and Porzingis, it ain't all that. Seriously, he's got certain defensive capabilities, but honestly, in some ways, he makes teams bad defensively. So I'm fully expecting the Celtics to not be.
And that injury history.
Yeah, the injury history, there's all kinds of stuff. The other thing is there's a very much a perception, Gerald, that Tatum and Brown are soft. And without Marcus Smart and Grant Williams around, they're going to be exposed as far as their success has been propped up by these tough guys around them protecting them. But these guys are gone. Well, we'll have to see the effect on Tatum and Brown in that situation. I fully expect the Celtics to be worse next year. And Grant Williams going to the Mavericks is part of it. Marcus Smart may be even more important part of it, though. Yeah, that's a horrible move for the Celtics. Yay, thank you. Thank you, Dallas, for taking Grant Williams and getting him out of our conference. It's not that I think he's that great. He's annoying, and he has X factors in him. He has dog in him that's very, very annoying. And him leaving the Celtics is a huge, huge plus for people that compete with the Celtics. Trust me, very much so. Just like they're saying it's a huge plus that Fred left us. Well, in some ways, this is the same thing. Logical saying, Lowry would have done the same after those Magic losses, but it's not even for the players to really do that. That's the head coach's job. And clearly Nick wasn't doing it, and someone had to speak up, not gonna lie. I really do think Nick went on autopilot this season very much on purpose to cause more confusion. If there's a leadership void on the team and he put that much on Fred's shoulders to try and be that responsible in that, then fuck you, Nick. You really were the root of all the issues that happened this year. The fact that you did not step up and try and put out fires left and right, or whatever you fucking did was ineffective, is really horrible. And in fact, it speaks to the fact that if you did that on purpose, it was sabotage. Otherwise, if you didn't do it on purpose and you're just an inept coach, well, good luck in Philadelphia in your situation there. More of these problems will spring up and it'll look the same. It could very well be, like Micah said, he inherited a championship team that was very grown up and veteran and would play with him very easily. Maybe he doesn't do well with young players, and he doesn't do very well with like being a leader without good leaders on the team like Mark Gasol and Kyle Lowry. So that may be part of the problem with Nick Nurse.
I've seen it been said by multiple people that he coached the team that he wants, not the team that he has.
Yeah. Honestly, I think that Nick Nurse is overblown with how good he is. And that I know he's our champion coach, but in a lot of ways, he's overblown. And if he didn't step up and get in between the players and do what he was supposed to do in this situation, fuck you, Nick Nurse. No wonder we had a dumpster fire this whole year. Your void in leadership really fucked us over. And you put too much on Fred so that other players turned on him. That is your fault, Nick. That is your fault. Yeah, there you go. Kyle Lowry would have said that. Would they have listened to Kyle? Do you think the young players could have got yelled at by Kyle and it wouldn't have been so bad? How about that? What do you think, Nako?
I'm not like, if it's this version of Kyle Lowry, the like prime Kyle Lowry after,
Scotty said that he is the greatest Raptor of all time in that interview yesterday.
Maybe.
I mean, see, I think that's bullshit because in some ways, Kyle and Fred have the same resume.
Yeah.
They really do have the same amount of accolades. And in some ways, that's bullshit that those young players would listen to Kyle if he was still here and he was in that spot instead. See, that's fucked up. In some ways, that's a personal problem with just Fred and his personality. I get it. And we've talked a lot about this recently. Stargate saying, thank you, Lex. I've been saying this for years about the hockey entities in this country's disdain for basketball. Glad someone like yourself has mentioned it. I've been fully aware of this for many years, Stargate. When I worked for MLSC at the arena, I saw it firsthand at my work. The way that they treated the Leafs and the Raptors was very different. The Leafs were like the privileged child. They got everything first class and everything, and the Raptors were an afterthought. And that's why I was so happy when Tim Lewicki showed up and separated the two teams, because we started getting our own stuff instead of just getting the purple version of the Leafs blue thing. And that's what they did when I was working there. Everything they did for the Leafs, they just made a purple version for us. And it was always in the design of what the Leafs would want. There's all kinds of screwed up bullshit. Like, look at this. This is something y'all may not have noticed, but from this past year, the way they set up the broadcasting stage at the lobby at the Scotiabank Arena, where the Sportsnet guys sit at that bench. Well, if you notice in the past, they would be sitting to face the people coming in, and they had a backdrop behind them. Well, you know what the fucking Leafs did? They went in and put a huge fucking maple leaf symbol on that backdrop. So if you've noticed, now they flip and they shoot towards the crowd coming in because they can't use the backdrop behind them anymore because it has this big, huge Leaf logo on it. So it's that kind of shit that pisses me off. It's shit like, they put the words Maple Leaf Square on the wall when it was always Jurassic Park, way before it was Maple Leaf Square. And when Paul Jones called it Maple Leaf Square at the Darko press conference, I said, motherfucker, that is Jurassic Park. You are a Raptors official and a reporter, and you need to call it the right name at that time. So it's really ensconced in a lot of different ways. And the other cool thing about this, and maybe not cool, but it's insightful, is that it's an insight into like racism in some ways. The way the Raptors are treated versus the Leafs is very much ensconced in just racism in some ways. So, you know what? I've been fighting this battle for a long time. I haven't really been very vocal about this aspect of it because we've been so successful and so overwhelmingly more popular than the Leafs in a lot of ways. Just the hot commodity. And well, they don't like that. They want to switch that back and make more of the luster and the shine on the Leafs again. With the Raptors hangover from the championship year in 2019, our first championship. So yeah, it's coming back around to this point where this fight may need to be fought again, as far as like saying, look. And the thing is, we have very distinctive different fan bases at this point. In some ways, Leaf Nation is not totally the same as Raptors Nation. It used to be a lot more similar, but we've kind of broken off and we have our own people now. And I'm so happy about that. And we'll be having strong following of the Raptors no matter what, even if they try and do what they're doing. Trevor's saying we have a very strong Raptors roster in Vegas. I think we can win it all. I hope so. Trevor, do you think you feel pretty good about the Raptors summer league team?
I feel good. Yeah. I'm excited for Grady. Obviously, Moses is.
I think that people need to get ready for some block shots, some big 3-point shots, and some crazy assists. Those are the kind of things that you should be looking for with this team. Crazy athletic block shots, amazing 3-point shooting, and then the way these little guys pass the ball and also attack the rim. Those will be the fun things to kind of keep track of. Seymour saying SGA from the Thunders was chilling in Jane and Shepherd recently. My cousin sent me a video. There you go. SGA, good Canadian, chilling up here in Canada out at Jane and Shepherd. You know, that's all right. You know, that's real ones are out there. It's funny. They asked Scotty about the Brampton U comment last summer, and then also about places he likes to hang out in Toronto. And he said, "Oh, I like being downtown. Downtown's where it's at." Stuff like that. And Amit said, or the guy who interviewed him said, "Do you ever go out to Scarborough or Brampton or anything?" So he said, No. I never go out to those places. Never ever go out to those places. But SGA is going out to Jane and Shepherd, so that's something there. But yeah, Scotty's favorite part of the town is downtown, y'all. So you want to see Scotty in Toronto, you got to be downtown. Let's see. Carlos saying DJ Wilson is on the Magic Summer League team. Thank you for dropping that knowledge on us, Carlo. That makes sense. Magic Summer League team. Seymour saying, shout out Maze Block. Maze Block. I'm not even sure what Maze Block is. Do you know what that is?
I don't know what Maze Block is.
All right. Mike saying, what's your guys' opinion on the subtext of the info on Banton having too many hometown distractions? That must have been tough on a young guy trying to make it. Maybe the voices and hands were too many. You know, this was something I was very afraid of when he got drafted by us. There's always kind of pitfalls you can fall into when you play for your hometown team. You got all your friends asking you for tickets all the time. You have more proximity to people that may be toxic from your past that may want to come and see you. I had advised Delano when we drafted him, cut off your Rexdale ties and don't even go back to your old neighborhood in some ways if you can. You know, he was on Twitch about a month ago and I saw him with his buddies hanging out. And, you know, it seemed like harmless and they weren't bad people or anything. So I don't know. This could have been part of it, logical. I mean, it's got to be very hard and distracting if you have family and friends around always asking for your time when you should be working out and focusing on Raptors related stuff. So I don't know for sure if this was actually an issue with issues with Banton, but who knows? Who knows? He's on the Celtics now. He's away now, and now he doesn't have to deal with the proximity with his family, and that may actually help him. We'll have to see if there's a difference because of that. So we'll have to see. Go ahead.
I'm kind of in the same boat with Lexi on this. I know Justin Champagne's also on the Celtics. He could have been interested because there's a familiar face and all. But yeah, I pretty much agree with.
I feel like in some ways Nick didn't give him a chance, and that was part of the problem. Yeah. But maybe there were underlying problems with him, like being distracted and being too much involved in different things in the community. Still, I don't know. That's really hard to kind of figure out as far as that. Seymour saying Jalen Green said he did not want Harden in Houston because that would be less shots for the young core, and Harden did not like that. You know, this is kind of ironic, Sheriff Seymour Pape, in some ways, because now Fred's there.
I think like any veteran you would have gotten, any all-star guard you would have gotten is going to make less shots for your young core.
Yeah. I mean, Jalen Green's going to find this with Fred, and this actually could be the crux of like part of why they have conflict is Jalen's going to notice what he was worried about with Harden happening with Fred anyway. So,
like now, it's Amin Thompson. I'm pretty sure it's Amin Thompson who Houston has. He has to go to the bench, so like I'm not sure if he's going to get the development that maybe he would have got if Fred wasn't on the team.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't think there's any veteran
They
guard.
were projecting him to be their starting point guard this year if Fred hadn't gotten acquired like that, Amin Thompson. So it's going to be weird there. Their mix of how they're going to mix the vets with, in some ways, the pairing of Dylan Brooks and Fred is one of the most hilarious vet pairings in a lot of ways. Because those guys are kind of goofy. And it may be in some ways Fred doesn't agree with some of the ways Dylan acts on the court. That could be a whole dumpster fire in itself. Dylan Brooks could rub some of the young Rockets the wrong way, showing up as a new guy. So there's all kind, and then you add in MA, and you've got all kinds of different like substances in that powder keg. And you don't know how things could go wrong with Houston in weird, very twisted ways.
In some ways, they might have been better going after Schroeder
themselves.
Yeah.
Instead of going after Fred, they might have been better with Schroeder. That may be part of the factor we see is like, holy crap, having Schroeder run our team with him not really caring about having offense himself, really, because Schroeder only really shoots or does things when he has to. It's not really like he's trying to take shots all the time. Like if it's getting near the shot clock end and he just happens to have the shot clock, the ball at that time, he will shoot it. But otherwise, he's probably more likely to pass it to the next guy or try and set somebody up like directly. So this is going to be interesting. Fred in Houston's going to be very, very interesting situation. Watch. Carlos saying Ron Harper Jr. is actually good. I've watched a couple of 905 games live last season. He can shoot, slash, handle the ball. Yeah, he's a multi-purpose, all-around player. And I do really like that. That's attractive. And it goes with the mode of our Vision 6'9". Everybody has to be able to do everything kind of thing. It's just he's a little shorter than the average Vision 6'9" kind of guy. But yeah, I like him too. I don't sully him. I think he's got a real good, strong chance to still carve out a good NBA career. Mike's saying in OKC, Schroeder played with a 3-point guard lineup, Chris Paul, SGA, and Dennis. So he's able to play well off ball. I think this was key in the decision. He's able to be effective most of the time, in my opinion. He fits at the moment. He's okay. He may fit in even better because of the intangibles, the winning plays that he makes that aren't offensive oriented. That's part of the thing. You just described that he's the guy who's not going to get shots after those two guys ahead of him. Obviously SGA, and then Chris is more of a traditional point guard, but they still did this. It's kind of like SGA's your small forward in this formation. Chris at the point, Schroeder more like a shooting guard in this formation. But it is kind of a short lineup also in some ways. But yeah, the fact that Oklahoma City could use those three guys at the same time speaks a lot about the versatility of Dennis Schroeder. So I like that. I like that a lot. Let's see. Cool Cat saying younger demographics don't like wait your turn. Fred comes from the old school model. You work hard to earn your stripes. Core of dynamics. Laugh out loud. Yeah, I don't get this. I can't identify this completely. I mean, I guess maybe when I was that age, I kind of was like, I don't know. I wasn't really like that. I mean, I did jobs where there were older people doing the jobs with me, but I always kind of respected them and listened to them and took instruction from them. But it wasn't really like I showed up at my job and just said, yeah, I'm the shit and I'm just going to do it all. Y'all don't need to tell me how to do it. And I'm the leader and all this kind of stuff. I wouldn't have done that as a kid when I came into a job. So I kind of hate that kind of mentality. It's like younger demographics don't like wait your turn. Well, it's not about wait your turn. It's you do your role within what you're doing, and then you'll get more opportunities as you grow as a young player. It's not like Scotty had to wait or anything. He got to start right away, and he started every single game except for one since he's been a Raptor. So it's not like he's been waiting. It's such a ridiculous kind of mentality. It's like, what do you want? You want everything? You want absolutely everything? Well, then you're greedy in some ways. You got to be a team player, Scott. You say you're a team player. Well, be a team player. That's what I'm saying. I mean, Gerald's quite younger than me. In fact, we've done scenes where we've acted like I'm his dad. And, we used to do that kind of stuff all the time. Gerald, I know you're older now because I've known you for quite a while. How old are you at this point?
28.
You're 28. Okay. And I've known you for about 10 years. So I knew Gerald when he was quite a young person. And I know maybe I was knuckleheaded, and sometimes I always tried to be like a good older influence on you. But you would, I guess sometimes you maybe reject some of the stuff I would suggest or something, but most of the time, you were open to me suggesting things. I don't know.
I think, like, I know with comedy, for me, there's a certain level of you think something really works, and it's not the easiest thing to, like, get pointed out that it doesn't work. Scotty could have, like, a similar mindset. So even if you're getting, like, a certain type of criticism that maybe you should follow, it could be the case that, like, you haven't realized that you should follow it.
Well, there were a couple of comments from last year that were interesting. Fred had a comment and Scotty had a comment. And Scotty's comment was on Twitch. He's very much saying, like Fred did too, the same thing. It's like, I only listen to basketball opinions from professionals, from people that actually play, people that played before me, coaches, people that are involved in the sport. I don't listen to fans' opinions about basketball because they don't mean shit to me because they don't know.
And if you're like Fred, you're probably getting like 400 to 500 people a day, maybe. Like telling you.
Like even when I met him, I came up to him and I said, "Just keep shooting, Fred. We believe in you, and we know your shot's going to win." That's kind of me telling him what to do. But it's also me saying, I believe in him. Take the shots. I know they're going to go in more and more eventually. But in some ways, that may annoy an NBA player. Don't tell me to keep taking my shots. I'm going to go do what I'm going to do anyway. Like we got that a little bit from Scott on Twitch last year. People would try and tell Scotty how to do things, and he would get a little annoyed. So I will say that I saw the mechanism of Scott kind of getting pissed when people would try and tell him how to do things on Twitch last year. In some of the settings, so like the people in the comments saying, "Oh, you should do this, Scott." And he's like, "Y'all don't tell me what to do." He literally said that to us at one point. So, that may be part of it right there. Seymour saying in the poll 6 days ago, 91% chose Banton over Flynn, yet Banton is gone and Flynn is still here. Yeah, that's a very good point, Seymour. Fantastic point. I put that poll up. He says 6 days ago, and we all valued Banton over Flynn. Now, in some ways, I'm going to spin it differently now because I value Flynn in a lot of ways at this point more than Banton at this point, because in some ways, Flynn is actually the understudy from Fred and Kyle from before him. And we'll have to see just how much Flynn actually learned from Fred VanVleet while he was under his tutelage. Because now Flynn, honestly, I think Flynn should get the first chance to start in some ways, even over Schroeder. If we're not going to go big and go 6'9" all across with Scotty as the point guard, I want to see Malachi get a chance to actually have a good run of being the starter and just see how much he gives us with starter minutes as far as efficiency, scoring, and assists.
I think whenever I see Malachi play, I almost always see the wheels in his head turning, which I think is a good sign.
He's a very cerebral player.
Yeah, I just wish he'd accomplished more things at the NBA level.
I think that it's a weird situation where he's had really good opportunities come up in the last few years, but he has bad luck where he gets hurt then himself. It's like Fred goes out and Malachi starts for like 3 games, and we're like, wow, Malachi could maybe actually take over and be in the stead of Fred. But then he gets hurt himself, and it's like the worst time for him to get hurt because he actually got his chance.
It could be the case that Desmond Bane is truly the player he is because he had Darko, so maybe Malachi can be truly the player he's
unlocked.
Going to be. Yeah, unlocked.
Yeah, maybe we could see Darko unlock some things about Malachi and make it. I think that in some ways Malachi may actually really shock people this year because there have been times where he's filled in for Fred and he's absolutely been great. You got to think about that. And if he actually gets more of a run and has time, we may see more from Malachi than we expect. And so it's interesting, but it's true. 6 days ago, we all preferred Banton over Flynn. Fiercey's saying thank you. Thank you, Fiercey. Say thank you to Fiercey.
Thank you, Fiercey.
Thank you. We love you, and you're welcome. We love you. Logical saying, Pape, Flynn has an IQ, and I didn't read that. Did you see me read that before that? He said he has an IQ, just like I said, and we lost a big part of our team IQ with Fred VanVleet. Flynn has a lot of knowledge and has been working with the younger guys. I think Nick and Flynn's dad battle didn't help him, but he's grown. Well, Nick's gone. Malachi outlived Nick. Who would have called that? David Johnson outlived Delano Ben. Who would have called that?
Crazy.
In some ways, yeah, I get why y'all are saying, oh, those aren't the people we wanted to win those battles in some ways. I get it. One of the things that's been said recently is the Raptors on the inside with their franchise are not that scared of replacing Fred. There's actually a statement saying that they're not that worried about filling in for Fred or having the void filled for him. Isn't that interesting that they've actually said that in the last day?
I also think the best reported trade that they could have gotten for Fred is Grayson Allen and a distant first, which isn't a whole lot better than nothing. Yeah.
Well, you're talking about for Fred with sign and trade?
I'm just talking about the offers that they were apparently getting.
Yeah, there was one trade that they said something about with the Clippers. Grange said there was a trade at the trade deadline with the Clippers for Luke Kennard. Like Luke Kennard would be the primary player we would get for Fred at the trade deadline. Just so y'all know, that's the kind of shit that Bobby and Masai were getting around the trade deadline. The best deal they got for Fred at that time,
and Fred signed for
was a deal for Luke Kennard,
and Fred signed
as the best player in the deal coming from the Clippers to us. So know that Bobby and Masai are doing a good job, and that the best deal they had in front of them that could have avoided this Fred thing was for fucking Luke Kennard, y'all. I mean, seriously. Oh my gosh. All right, let's keep going. Wayne saying, checking in late, Raptors freaks. Anxious for Summer League. It's relatively a new group, and there must be a few gems to discover. Big ups, Lex and Nacho the Nacho. Yeah. I'm excited for Summer League also. This group is going to be fun group. This is a very interesting group. From looking at them yesterday, you guys are going to have a lot of fun watching them. It's going to be very entertaining, and there's going to be a lot of fun highlights. Watch. It will definitely be, for sure. Let's see. Smooth saying, I don't know Toronto should build around Scotty. I don't see superstar in him. I see all-star. I'm worried about this to a degree. I don't want Scott to be the toxic person on our team. So please, Scott, get it together and realize that there are certain ways we got to do things in the NBA. And maybe you want to make your own way and do this. Well, if you do it to the detriment of our team, I'm not going to be happy with you. So please get with the program and work within the franchise and the way we've done things in the past. In some ways, there's a hierarchy of seniority in every kind of job matters. Somebody's been somewhere longer. They have a seniority in the union. That's just how it is in a lot of jobs. And I get it. You want to jump to the leap to the front of the line? Well, that's not how it should work. You're not ready. And in some ways, you got to let us do it the way that's best for you and your long term, for your career. And I'm worried about this, Smooth. I am a little bit, just with the newer stuff coming out. Blackhawks saying many ignorant fans don't realize that Thad makes up for that communication leadership wise that Pascal lacks confrontation wise. Yeah, I agree with this. People that are dissing Thad Young right now realize that he is part of what we needed more of this season. The fact that he didn't have a more pronounced role on this team made it harder for him to throw his weight around. But maybe this year, maybe he steps up a little bit more. Maybe he doesn't want to. I have no idea. Maybe him and Otto will show up and they'll be together kind of helping do things. Otto Porter has a lot of weight he can throw around and tell people how to do things as an older vet with a ring too. So, I mean, I hope that, we get good leadership this year, because the leadership didn't work last year. There's a void of leadership from Nick, and they rejected Fred's leadership. So we're just at a weird point at this point. Carlos saying those games that Scotty took over in the fourth really got me hyped for the future. He may be immature right now, but he'll come around. I really hope so. And that is what we're talking about. It could very well be that Fred came to him and said, we saw what you did in the fourth quarter in the last game, Scott. Why can't you do that tonight? Why can't you step up and do something? There were a lot of games this year also where we were like, Scotty hasn't done jack shit the whole game. And then he wakes up in the fourth quarter. He was starting to be like Scotty in the fourth, Scotty fourth. And I'm like, well, fuck that, dude. Fucking get going right from the start. This may be part of the seedlings of what there was criticism for him. It's like, Scott, we need you to show up on every play. We need you to be there engaged and doing what you need to do. There were a couple of rumblings that Scott has trouble staying not bored on the court. And that's really a fucked up problem to have. Like, you should never be bored on an NBA court. If you're that good and you're that ahead of things, well, utilize that ahead of things to make winning plays. And that's what he said he was going to do. Make the next winning play over and over again. So yeah, there's no way that Scotty should be getting bored on an NBA court. You're not working hard enough if you're bored, is what I'll say. Let's see. I really do hope that he does take over and he is that guy in the future, Carlo. I really, really do. I want Scotty to be our guy. I want him to be our franchise guy, and I want him to be the best player we have. I really do. Ahmet saying, yo, morning, y'all, from Canada. Can't be here for long because I have some family coming over. All right, Ahmet has made the trip from Israel to the Canada. He is here in our country now. And wow, fantastic stuff. Get ready for Global Jam this week. Gerald, you gonna go to any Global Jam this year?
Probably not.
No, I'm thinking about maybe going to some of the events. I know that Greg is going from Gubstown Clink with his kids, and some other people are going. Obviously, Ahmet the GOAT is going to be at Global Jam. Very cool stuff. And y'all remember, we're getting closer to the Raptorfreak meet and greet, July the 15th, 3 p.m. Real Sports Bar and Grill. Will be during Global Jam. We can come down there and meet us. Are you going to be there?
I have an event that I have to be at, so unfortunately, I'm not going to be at the meet to meet you all in person.
It's all good, Gerald. There'll be other stuff in the future. We'll make sure you get involved and stuff. You're here today. People can see your face today. Like I said, go support Gerald when you see him on the marquee at comedy clubs around Toronto. Gerald Mayhew. If you see that name, that's the gentleman you will see on stage telling you jokes. Let's keep going. But Ahmet, have fun with your family. I know it's been a bit since you've seen some of them, and that's awesome that you're reunited with your family. Superfan Monique is saying, who is DeJounte Murray? Laugh out loud. Who is DeJounte Murray? Who is that guy? Who the fuck does he think he is? Is that what Monique's saying right now, I think? Silly, Pascal over everything. I think you missed some of my comments. It's okay. Did I, Monique? I don't know. I've only seen one comment from you, and you have a wrench. So you definitely have the ability to get your comments in for sure. That's part of the reason why I left you the wrench. You have had 3 comments today so far, and that is all I've seen, Monique. If you've had more than 3 comments, I apologize that I did not see them, but only 3 that I count for right now, unfortunately. All right, let's keep going. Yeah, I totally agree. DeJounte Murray is not somebody I want over Pascal Siakam. Just shut up, Atlanta. Go away. Yeah. Cowboys saying BRIC stands for brew. Oh, these are countries. Okay. What is BR? BR, if it's a country. What is it, Burundi? Is it Burundi? I think it's Burundi. RU? Is RU Rwanda or something like that? Rwanda? Russia. It could be Russia. And then IN is India. And then CN is Canada, or is it China? And then ZA is New Zealand. I don't know.
Zimbabwe?
I don't know. Those are country. Those are flags. You can't see them in the chat as flags because it doesn't translate them that way. Right. I don't know. I don't want to go off topic again, but out of 195 countries, 130 of them are going to CBDC, central bank digital currency, all ran off of blockchain again. Please check. Okay, so this has to do with blockchain and like other currencies. Okay, so these are countries that are joining this currency exchange. They're going to use it in their countries. Okay, interesting. Cowboy, this is out of the blue. So check out BRICS, I guess, for investment reasons. I think that's why he wants us to check it out. Infamous is saying Fred's got to be careful. He's taken around like a man around Jalen Green. Infamous is funny. Yeah, there's a lot of videos of Jalen Green, how he likes to have fun recently. And a lot of people are think it's weird or a little strange. But yeah, Fred probably like, don't fucking do that shit around me. We know Fred, how he is. Let's do a scene real quick. You be Jalen Green and act like you want to like hump me. And I'll be Fred. Hump me. Yeah, you haven't seen the clips?
No.
All right, so basically, Josh Christopher and Jalen Green are best friends on the Rockets. And I don't know, they're youngsters. They have different fads. And their fad is to like fake hump each other. Like Josh Christopher will be sitting up like this, and Jalen will come up and literally fuck him for like 5-10 minutes. And they're doing a lot of that kind of stuff. So that's what he's talking about. So you go ahead, you'll be Jalen Green and talking to Fred. I'll be Fred. And you're going to try and come hump me during our practice, running up the hill and doing all that kind of stuff. But don't actually physically get up out of your seat and try and attack me. just say what you're doing in this scene. How about that? All right.
Okay.
So we're gonna do this scene.
Fred, I'm gonna make you more comfortable by humping you.
What the hell are you talking about, Jalen?
What?
No, listen, I saw what you were doing with Josh, and that ain't right. What are you doing, man? You know I'm a married man with my kids. Why would you try and do that to me? I ain't like that.
We get people more comfortable that way.
What do you mean? This is crazy. You youngsters are weird with your weird shit that you're doing these days. What the fuck you mean you're going to try and fuck me from behind? No.
I thought, Scott, you said you'd like it.
Jalen, please. It is ridiculous. It's kind of funny. Infamous, thanks for the comment. G saying, jumped some weird news. Britney Spears was allegedly assaulted by one of Wemby's security staff. Ooh. Apparently, he backhanded her in the face. Ooh, damn. Well, she's well known. She maybe wasn't well known in that situation because I know she's not making music really anymore. Mm-hmm. And she does. I don't know what she looks like now. So it could be very well that they didn't know it was Britney Spears when they saw her.
I think she has hair again.
She does have hair again?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is weird. This is a weird story to come at Wemby with. Your security guy slapped Britney Spears? What the fuck is going on here?
Damn.
Oh my gosh. People and celebrities around the NBA right now, like Conor McGregor, really weird shit happening with them right now. Okay, I'm going to have to find out more about this Britney Spears incident. Very strange. At least it wasn't Wemby himself. Although, Gerald, it could be said that if Wemby slapped Britney, it may be because he just has such long arms, he didn't realize he slapped her.
Yeah.
You know, if it was him, I would say that. If they had said Victor had slapped him, well, what do you expect? The man's arms are as long as the world. He's slapping people every day. He can't help it. I don't know. Let's see. Seymour saying, yes, cowboy, get your gold and silver up. I got 20 ounces of silver and about 4 million in Viet Dong. Let's go. An amazing block is Jane and Shepard. An amazing block. Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, it can be serious out there. I know that's out where Monique stays out there. You know, it's a very notorious part of Toronto. And, you know, some of it isn't fair. You know, there's a very strong, vibrant community out there of people that are good people. And sure, there are incidents that happen that tarnish the reputation of that area. But much like every single part of Toronto, a lot of parts of Toronto are much safer than their reputation. You know, so the Jane and Finch stuff is kind of but it's true. It can be dangerous out there. So be careful. If you're around Driftwood, that can be a little rough out there for sure. So you guys are getting into commodities. Y'all are like, I feel like we need Russell Oliver here. I'm Russell Oliver. I need your gold. More. Oh, yeah, baby. Yeah, we're talking about gold and commodities this morning. How do you feel about the commodities market right now, Gerald?
I hate markets.
He hates markets. Ooh, commodities. I'm with you, man. I'm with it. Seymour saying Fred takes less shots than Harden, less of a ball hog. That's probably maybe true. I don't know if that's true. Like, look at the assist number from last year. You know, Harden was really doing a hard line point guard kind of thing with the Sixers where he was not trying to shoot and he was setting up Joel a lot. In fact, Harden was in the top 5 in assists last year, I believe. So I don't know if that's true, actually, Seymour. I think that Fred is going to take more shots, actually, than Harden may have if he had showed up there. So I think that in some ways, Harden's a better point guard than Fred. I hate to say that because I love Fred, but in some ways, he's a much better passer, and he sets people up in a more successful way than Fred does, obviously. So, yeah, Nameless got the chat cut off. Let's see what's else going on. Cowboys saying, yes, sir, Seymour. Maze Block is just down the street from my son's. And yeah, I'm glad you know. Even crypto is good. Not but now, but in the future. We will win the Summer League, and Raptors will also. Let's go. All right, Bradley. Always rooting us on. Always. I love Bradley's comments. Just saying all the positive things. We're going to kick some ass at Summer League. I love that. Y'all get your commodities straight. That's what the message is now today. Infamous saying, thanks for mentioning the hockey bias. When the NBA pulls in more revenue and has a larger TV deal, yeah, that's part of why we get poo-pooed as a franchise. We get poo-pooed on the U.S. side and we get poo-pooed on this side.
Sad days.
You know, Gerald, when you watch TSN Sports Center, how long does it take for them to mention the Raptors?
I don't actually watch a lot of TSN because, like, most of the sports talk that I watch is on YouTube. I think like everyone kind of has varying opinions on the Raptors. Most of the people I watch are positive.
Well, it's more about this. You're going to have to watch TSN Sports Center for about 10 minutes before you hear a Raptor story.
Right.
You're going to hear a Leaf story, maybe a Blue Jay story. Then they might throw in curling. And then the Raptors are an afterthought at some point.
But on TV, typically, I don't hear a lot of Raptors talk.
No, they don't want to give us any kind of blast. And it's crazy because they own the team and it's in their interest to make money off of it. Well, maybe they're like, we want a bigger piece of the pie. Maybe they very much had a board meeting. They're like, Raptors have made us so much good money lately, but the Leafs are underperforming. Well, they're kind of in the shadow of the Raptors. Maybe we hurt the Raptors a little bit. We can increase our earnings with the Leafs again. It could be that kind of shit. These motherfuckers in the executive boardrooms talking it like that way that I just said. Well, how can we hurt the Raptors more? Well, we control the narrative of them on cable TV because we fucking own the companies and the channels. That's how easy it is. There you go. You can see where Bell and Rogers could be fucking with the Raptors, even though they own them. It's crazy. Seymour's got the for a Cowboy. Carlos saying Flynn has that shot though. People are clamoring for more shooting. Yeah, I'm all about it. I want to see him get more consistent minutes and make his shot more consistent. And yeah, Malachi Flynn, you're out of the nursery, so you growed up real good. You get on your walking legs and walk down to the court and just start bombing shots, right? You growed up real good. Yeah, Eric's smiling. Eric Flynn. Yeah, Nick's gone. No more nursery time. Yeah. Cowboys saying, have a great day, Lex. Bam. Nacho, bam. And the Raptorfreaks, bam. W stream like always. Hope everyone has a great day. Stay safe and enjoy the sunshine. Get out and touch the grass. Yeah, Gerald and I will catch up for a little bit. We've seen each other a couple times since the pandemic, but we know it was really hard. Gerald does not live in the city. He comes into the town to come say hi every once in a while.
Drove an hour, put on Liquid Swords by Jizza on the way, and yeah.
Okay, he's dropping his music soundtrack coming in from the saga. Yeah, Gerald, I appreciate you getting up early to come down here and show up. This was in the works. I didn't want to tell y'all just in case he wasn't able to make it. I just wanted to make it a nice, pleasant surprise.
I didn't have breakfast, by the way.
I didn't either. So maybe that's what we'll go do. We'll go have breakfast after this. Let's see. Mike saying Fred VanVleet or the salary for others was the better option. In trades, you need to take back salary, and I'd rather sign our own guys. W stream. Thanks, Mike. I like that take on that. Instead of doing the sign and trade with Fred, why do we want their garbage? Seriously. Some of their guys we may not want from Houston. And even if there's a third team involved, it may be just more complicated and stupid. I'm with Mike on this. We know what we're dealing with. We don't want to get some weird entity from somebody else that we didn't necessarily want just to make the monies fit right. And in some ways, I like your take. Infamous is saying, tell Fred how to play ball is like telling Dave Chappelle how to write jokes. I mean, in some ways, that's actually not far off. I mean, and that's the way he looks at it. It's like, if you're a professional basketball player, you can talk to me about professional basketball. It's like my dad's an architect. I don't want to talk to him about how to do architecture because he'd get mad at me. He's like, I'm the professional son. You're not a professional architect. How could you tell me? Well, he's open-minded to hear my ideas. But in reality, I don't know more about architecture than my dad. So why would I teach him architecture? He teaches everybody architecture when he was teaching architecture. So it's like, if you're a pro in your field, you be that pro. It's like Fred said, I don't tell a pro football player how to play football, even though I played football when I was in high school. It doesn't work. That's how it is. Let's keep going. Let's see. Logical saying Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. Okay, those are the countries in the BRICS. Yeah, very cool. Very interesting. Blackhawk saying people think Pascal is being shopped, but it is a smoke screen. Trade will happen, but it won't be with Pascal. Suckers. Blackhawk. This is very interesting what Blackhawk thinks is coming down the pipes. I think I understand what he's saying, but we'll have to see what happens with that. Amit saying pause. What are you saying, Blackhawk? You have got the attention of the stream. Seymour's like, what? Stargate saying, I believe the Raptors will shock people this upcoming season. I believe Darko has come in with a plan. As I said before, we will see a totally different offensive structure and scheme.
I think Masai was right in saying that we're not that much inferior to the Miami Heat, especially with the amount of noise that they were able to make without Tyler Hero. So yeah, I think we do have. I think our ceiling could be getting to the finals. I wouldn't. Don't count that as a prediction. Don't count that as a prediction.
Listen, you said that just offhand right now. If it
Yeah.
happens, I'll be like, Nako said it in July, y'all. But
like the East isn't as bad as it was last year. The Celtics got worse. Philly's looking like it's
going to be
worse.
weird with Philly. We'll have to see how Philly does. They could very well be a dumpster fire this year. I think it's this. I think it's the parity in the league is so even at this point that you can have good luck and good health. You can get as far as you can in the playoffs, and it's wide open. Miami is exactly the right example in what you guys are saying. What Masai said and Gerald's saying now that we're not that far off from Miami. We beat Miami 3 out of the 4 times we played them this season, and in some ways, it's just they got good vibes, a good hot shooting streak, and got things going. But that dog mentality, that hard work, that frenetic defensive mentality kind of thing that Miami does is the same as us. And in some ways, that similar kind of team could have done that. Now, some people will say, well, they had Kyle and Jimmy and Bam, and those guys have a certain experience and a dog to them. Well, I would argue that, Fred and a couple other guys on our team last year had that kind of dog experience that could have been that same kind of effect. It's just that the team was not bought in at all anymore. And that was that. It is really, we have no idea what could have happened. And in some ways, I'm just as pissed after this season as I was after the bubble with how we went out in Game 7 to Boston, because these kind of endings to seasons have ramifications and reverberations, and we're feeling them now with Nick gone and now Fred gone. And that's the thing that pisses me off. It's like we could have, would have, could have, should have. We beat fucking Chicago. We beat Miami on that Friday instead of Chicago losing to them. And we get in the first round and we kick some Milwaukee Bucks ass. Who knows what could have been? And that's why I'm so pissed at Nick, because he did really sabotage any kind of ability for us to compete in that play-in game. That is like, what's the point? We all have given up on you, coach. We won't draw this out any further. Let's just lose.
And also, if there is, we did talk about Scotty's ceiling a little bit on this stream. I would say I would project him to be at least in the tier of a Jimmy Butler.
Oh yeah, well they're very different kind of player.
Yeah,
but
you
mean as far as some point, it's going to be hard for him to get to the point like Jimmy. It's going to take many years of hardened. Years and experience and just being a vet, like crazy wily vet like Jimmy Butler. And very few people reach where he's at. If he can get to that point, that would be fantastic, because that would mean that he's been through the wars. And I hope he's ready to go through the wars to get to that transformation, but I don't know. We'll have to see. Let's see. All right, let's see. Monique saying, my latest comments you miss are the Raptors practice were great, and I saw the Tampa comments were so hilarious. I think that I saw the practice was great, that part, and I did say it. But I don't remember the Tampa part. Tampa comments are hilarious. I hate those comments, Monique. I hate that. That's loser mentality. And anybody who thinks that we're getting Tampa vibes from setting up 2 courts in our hotel let's just shut up. That's not helpful. It really isn't. We don't have Tampa vibes. We're in Las Vegas. We're not going to be playing at Amalie Arena. We'll be back at Scotiabank Arena. It's just that our team is such high class that we sent our courts from Tampa in the bubble to Las Vegas. So we're getting more use out of them. We spend all this money on temporary courts that we can take very far away and travel with. We might as well use them in a situation like the Summer League. So yeah, I'm sick of this. People that want to allude to Tampa vibes, like Vivek Jacob made a tweet that I was just like, what the fuck, man? Seriously, why? No wonder we have such a weird mentality in our fan base, because we have such loser mentality covering it, whether it's Michael Grange or Vivek Jacob in this instance. Why are you alluding to Tampa in this situation? This is Las Vegas. This is a totally different situation. None of the guys who are in Tampa are in that gym shooting around at Vegas right now. So, yeah, I don't like the comments about Tampa. You may think they're funny, but to me, they're annoying. And people need to stop thinking we're getting loser vibes just because we set up temporary courts for the benefit of our team. That shows that we're a high class franchise, and that we set that kind of shit up for that kind of thing. That shows that we're really dedicated. And not other people can say all this other bullshit about, oh, Tampa vibes, oh, we're losers and all that kind of stuff. We're winners for setting up our own court and having that set up. I believe that, at least. I mean, other people can think other things, whatever. It's free country, but that's how I want to paint it. So let's see. Cowboys saying Raptors over NBA. Have a great day. All right, let's going to do a couple of things I want to take care of real quick. Once again, the Summer League roster is set up. We have 16 players. Lots of great players. My list of players to look for are Marquise Noel, Grady Dick, Mo Gee, Kevin O'Banner, and DJ Hogg. I'm really interested to see if DJ Hogg can take an NBA career after kind of not doing well and having to go away and play in Australia. DJ Hogg is an interesting player. You said you like
Marquise, Grady, and Kevin, I would say, are the top threes I'm looking at.
Yeah, and they're all on our team already. So they're kind of not in trouble for getting stuff. Here's our Instagram check real quick. Mr. New York City is playing, I don't know who that is. Hustlers Don't Stop. Who is that, Gerald? Do you know?
I don't know.
You don't know. So some rap song. And then he's got a picture. He guess he was in the lobby at the Wynn Casino Resort, and he's watching a show with a dancer and a band behind it. So he's big time now. And he's quoting Meek Mill.
That's probably who he was watching.
I feel good things coming to me is what he said there. Let's see. Slim Duck. He's in a. All right. Listen, this is kind of sad. Slim Duck is posting a clip from his time last summer at this one place. I remember he had this pool where they did the choke slam, Undertaker choke slam. They're doing wrestling moves to each other into the pool. And one of his guys in his entourage, he apparently passed away in the last week or so. This is really sad. Rest in peace. 1 year ago, like this, life hits you fast. So apparently his friend who was in the pool with him last summer has died. And Chris is mourning a good friend, unfortunately, right now, Chris Boucher. I hate seeing that. And then he's got a peace, love, dove in his second one towards maybe his friend. I'm guessing that he's sending a dove for him into the air. That's sad. I hate hearing that Chris lost a friend. Matt Devlin putting his son Luke on blast. Of course, he's a part of the Pittsburgh Penguins organization. Luke Devlin. Interesting, raw, but intriguing prospect who is working with Gary Roberts to meet the NHL former Leaf. Gary Roberts. He's a former Leaf, right? You don't know. You don't know. Let's see. Grady is getting interviewed by all kinds of different people. They're asking him about getting on the court and being an ultimate competitor and all this kind of stuff. Cool stuff there. Oh, there's Gerald's Instagram. Remember that Winnie the Pooh movie nobody actually saw?
So there's a Winnie the Pooh movie. It's called Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey. It's like a horror film. I didn't think it was very good. It's kind of cheap. They don't really do much with the
actual story.
They're
setup. Like humans that just have their names. Like there's some guy named Pooh and there's some guy named Tigger.
They're all in masks. Yeah, they're like Winnie's in it.
So it's like super creepy shit.
Yeah. I don't even think they're that creepy.
They're trying to ruin Winnie the Pooh for people by giving them nightmares. That's crazy. Oh, it's Wu-Tang. It's Wu-Tang. Okay, I see. Okay, it was Wu-Tang on Marquise Noel's Instagram. Thank you, Stargate. And Logical Raptors Fanatic saying Masai makes 4D chess moves with unlimited court for our guys. I love that. Mike, you keep keeping Project Truth out there and slanting it in the right way, the positive way for our Raptors. Cowboys saying this ain't the Tampa Raptors. This is the Toronto Raptors. Let's grow our roots in the soil. Yeah, you go, Cowboy. All right, Gerald, you want to add anything else before we get out of here? Please check your WNBA fantasy teams. Please check them and make the adjustments as accordingly.
Do that so you don't miss the playoffs like me. Yeah. I'm in last place right now.
Yeah, Gerald, but you still time. You know, there's 8 teams out of the 10 will make the playoffs. So if you just get a couple wins before the end, you could very well make the playoffs still, even though you're 0-6, I believe. You're 0-6 record right now. Oh, my gosh. Anyway, y'all, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. And anything else real quick about Leo Routens? Yeah, he had surgery. Apparently, Leo had a really good surgery recently, and he's able to walk again better. And that's really good. That's part of the reason why he stepped down from traveling with the team is because he's having a lot of issues with how he walks. That's on the down low. Nobody really knew this about Leo. And that was part of the reason why he stepped down from covering the team on the broadcast team because he can't travel anymore because of his medical issues. Well, he had some successful surgery, in the last week, and he had some really good results. I love hearing good news for Leo Rowlands. So go ahead.
I feel like I should have known that Marquise was listening to Wu-Tang because like I brought up how I was listening to Liquid Swords on the way here. Oh well.
Okay. All right. In some ways that just went over my head, but that's all right. I am an old head. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching once again. Thank you, Gerald, for being here with me. My good buddy, Gerald. Y'all, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I'll be back tomorrow for a preview of the Raptors versus the Chicago Bulls, Las Vegas Summer League. Tomorrow we do a preview, baby. No Friday freak out. We're going on the preview and reaction schedule during Summer League. So there will be no Sunday report. There'll be none of that kind of stuff coming up. Oh, there will be trivia on Tuesday, though, because that's the off day that will allow for a trivia, but everything else will be previews and reactions for the next week or so. So y'all be ready for that. And then, of course, we're leading into the big meet and greet next Saturday, July the 15th, 3 p.m., Real Sports Bar and Grill. I hope as many of y'all can come and join us for sure. Fiercely saying, if you do the NBA fantasy team, I'll do a much better job. Laugh out loud. Yeah, I believe you will, Fiercely, and we will definitely do it again this year. And we'll do it head-to-head since y'all like the head-to-head more than the rotisserie. It'll be head-to-head just like what we're doing in the WNBA, and it'll be a lot of fun, Fiercey. I'll be so happy to have you in that league also for that. All right, y'all. What do we do, Gerald? We say what? Let's
go Raptors!
Raptors!
That was badly timed, but it's all good.
No, it's all right. It's fine. It's all improvised stuff, you know. It's like, it is good to see you, man. Yeah. But yeah, let's try it again one more time. Let's
go Raptors!